Drive.
It feels like you were there. It feels like you should have won that game. It feels like everything was right in where it should be. To lose with the kicker stinks.
I think it's the best because then everybody else escapes damage. By the way, if the Browns cannot commit to cutting Andre Schmidt, then they're telling me they're endorsing losing. If they don't bring in competition for Andre Schmidt, they're endorsing what happens if he costs you another game.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
In the air, left field, it's high, it's deep. Gritcham is out of room, it's out of here, and the Guardians take a 1-0 lead on Jose's 28th home run of the year. Left field, it's a fair ball. That goes into the corner. Ramirez scores, and David Fry drives him in with an RBI double. Book it. The Guardians have won the first two against Kansas City as Cade Smith nails it down. High wire act gets his 12th save of the year.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy of Guardians TV. 11%? Did you see the picture he sent?
No. Sorry.
Oh, it was on social media. I'm sorry. Well, he didn't at you. 11% that drink is over there at that ballpark?
Yeah, man.
Oh, my God. How are you here this morning?
I'm a gamer.
What was in it? What was
Show
it?
up big time.
Clearly you
I don't
are.
miss my kicks. I'm good. I'm a gamer. I'm ready to go.
I couldn't believe. I was so impressed. I go, oh, my God. So Owen had a joke where he wrote.
It's not a joke. It's real life.
Ah, okay. Owen had a great tweet where he wrote, no Jose home run ball for me. It was 3 feet to my left, and Ken Carman wouldn't let me go get it. Guess I'll settle for 11% in a box in a playoff race on a Tuesday night. And I look and I go, whoa, 11%. Like someone's like, hey, there's Buzzkill Ken. And I go, you ain't killing 11% on a buzz, brother. I don't know anything I can say to kill 11%. Wow. I'm impressed, brother. You hoot with the Owls at night, and you soar with the Eagles in the morning.
Try to keep it that way. Hey,
Wow.
when you've got playoff baseball, when every game that's left is a playoff game,
Yep.
you're able to get it up and get going the next morning as well.
You are. I mean, this is the playoffs, folks. We're in the postseason. It's win or die. Every single week. Every single day. Every single night. It is win or die. Joey Cantillo had a hell of a performance last night. Boy, these guys are pitching right when you need them to. I know I was concerned about the rotation and everything. These guys are pitching when you need them.
Now, more importantly, now I got the picture up. So
What's more importantly?
I'm looking at the actual item because at first you said 11. I'm like, oh, I could if you had there's certain pumpkin beers right now that are in the 8%.
Had a nice mead on a Tuesday evening.
You do two pumpkins you're done for.
God, you guys are still in that pumpkin
11.
stuff.
Well, it's just pumpkin came out,
you guys.
like 3 weeks ago.
Not you. You
And
know what I mean.
it's all I saw the last time I was at a bar. It's all I saw everybody getting because it was on tap.
Right.
And everybody was asking for it. And again, that's like 8 point something percent. You can only really do 2 of those. If you're doing more than 2 of those, what kind of night are you trying to have? It's tough to maintain that. What I'm looking at right now in a very colorful box, 11.
We'll talk about it more off air.
Wait, it says 11.
I kind of want to talk about it on air.
0.1.
You shorted it. It's 11.1.
Oh.
It looks like
It's
orange.
that 0.1 that gets you.
Orange sherbet.
So
What
this
is
thing is called a beat box, and it's called Orange Blast.
That's a blue raspberry one.
Looks tasty.
And this is street legal?
Apparently.
This
It's not
wasn't made
street
in a,
legal, but it's right field district legal for sure.
This wasn't made in a bathtub somewhere.
Where was the Pyramid of Giza for the beatbox?
Wow.
You imagine that? You imagine what that crowd was like?
That's a good drink, man. Did it at least taste good?
I'll let you know off air.
Because there's
First
a few
few
out
sips.
there. There's a few out there. It's like, I've had some high gravity before, obviously. And it's like, man, did you guys scrape this out of the bottom of the tank? Like, I don't know if I can make it through this can. And then, there's some things, it's like, oh, okay. And I know wine will get you. Wine can be a high alcohol content.
I don't know if you ever had a younger time in your life, a dorm room time. I spent several years in dorms in the military, right? And so had the similar experience of your college experience there, but there were several nights where a little Mad Dog or a little Boone's Farm get you through the evening, right? was one of those nights.
What, the Edward 40 hands?
Yeah.
What about, did you ever do what was it, the Harry Buffalo or the something Buffalo?
Harry Buffalo's a restaurant.
Yeah. What was it called? What was it called where they threw in the Everclear and all the fruit? That was disgusting.
I don't remember. That was just,
we used to take the big
jungle juice.
We used to take we used to take the big tub and you throw everything in there. Usually it was like a tote, like someone's mom's tote. And of course you never cleaned it out before. You just threw all the booze in and everything like that.
That's why if you're really doing it right, you get the plastic 3-level bins, right? That kind of looks like maybe it was a Rubbermaid dresser. Yeah. And you fill each one, and then you got 3 different levels.
Yeah, you don't put that inside though, because that thing's going to leak. You pull out them drawers, that thing's going to slosh around and all that other stuff. It's going.
Anchorage in the winter is like a built-in freezer.
Oh my God!
Were people taken after you after they saw you with this? Were you getting questions?
Oh no!
I actually got mad.
I beatboxed more than once over at the ballpark.
Yeah, man, you got to.
And there's not too many people willing to come with me.
When you order it, are they like? You never know. Are they like?
Sometimes we walk through. I did go to the bar and actually get my last one last night, and the guy was like, "Oh, you want 2?" I go, "No, not 2.
No,
just 1." I go, "I gotta get up. Gotta get up in the morning."
When that's the worst thing about if you go to an event. And it's like open bar, and then you always do the thing where, and I totally do the George Costanza. I tip at the beginning, and I want you to see that I'm tipping at the beginning.
Of course.
You need to see this.
Setting the tone.
Because it's usually,
a segment.
If it's an event, you're going to take a $20 bill. Here it is. This is for me.
Cover me for a while.
If it's me and my wife, maybe it's more. I'm not sure, but Liz does. I mean, Liz has a couple of drinks here and there, but not like her younger days. So here is your
Snoop days.
I want you to say, hey, shut up. She didn't have sex with him. So anyway, like you do it, and then you go up and you still got to pace yourself a little bit because I'm not 25 anymore. I'm 39. Like it can't be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The other thing I'll say about the game, though, guys, I parked over here. It was 8:44 when I got back to my car.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's right. That's right.
It's not like I was out
didn't
at
realize
midnight.
it.
No,
I know,
that's good.
But still, it's an early morning.
Yeah.
It's Owen, don't get this mixed up. I am giving you all the credit in the world.
Ken, you know me. I don't care.
Well, I know, but I want people to know, like, it's like, man, a lot of people come up with a lot of excuses.
That was one of the factors that went into it last night. It was, we walked in the ballpark at 6:35, and
we got a man.
And 8:45, we were back out into the car.
Doing well.
We're good.
But you go and you, give the thing, and then you walk back up to the bar, and they're like, all right, 2 more highlights. You're like, I didn't know. And then they sometimes they crack them open, and I'm going, I just wanted like a Sprite. Trying to gear down here a little bit. I'm going to be headed back to the hotel. Like, it was just like, man, so you feel bad in that moment when you go up there and they're like, oh, yeah, 2 more. Like, no. So I have to make it abundantly clear when I'm walking up going, no, I'm cutting myself off. Be cool. But at least the Guardians got the win. And right now, where are we at right now, Owen? Where are we at?
We're in Cleveland.
Well, I know that, but where are we at in the you ass.
These guys wits about him?
Yeah, no,
he's smart.
I don't think we made any ground up last night. Yeah, it's still 8.5 back in the division, 2.5 back in the wild card.
Okay, so we're still 2.5 back, which technically, are we 3.5 back because the Seattle Mariners have the tiebreaker?
Tiebreaker, yeah.
All right, so
you've won 5 in a row, 6 of 7.
Can't stop.
Yeah, Seattle's won 4 in a row. Rangers won 3 in a row.
There was an interesting conversation, though, that happened yesterday because the day before, we almost had a Slade Ciccone no-hitter. I want to hear Nick out before I go after him. Here was Nick and Jonathan yesterday afternoon, and Nick is explaining that he would rather, with this team, right? It's this team. I don't want to take anybody out of context. Not at 6:11 in the morning. Nick had said with this team he'd rather see a no-hitter than a postseason berth, a wild card berth. Go ahead.
I know if you give people, you can claim a wild card spot or your favorite pitcher, your favorite team, the Guardians, can pitch a no-hitter this season. I know people are going to choose wild card. It's the thing I haven't seen. I feel like I've heard enough about the Len Barker no-hitter.
Yeah.
That I've almost lived it. Like, I met Len Parker. We played in the celebrity softball game with him.
That's right, me, you, and Adam.
I've heard my dad's perspective on it. I heard my uncle's perspective on it. I've heard, Terry Pluto's perspective on it. I've heard so many perspectives.
What gets brought up every time a Guardians player almost has one.
But we get 1 year farther into the rearview mirror, and you are right in just the absolute idea that it's going to happen. You just don't know when it's going to happen. For this year specifically, if this was last year, I would have just taken the division. I would have taken the wild card spot because I believed in that team. This year, I think just making the wild card spot is going to be a nice accomplishment, and then we can go watch football after that. I don't think this team's going to do much in the postseason, even if they make it. So I just want the accomplishment. So I'd rather take this accomplishment over that one, even if I want both.
Okay, so he's being specific about this year, about this team only, not any general year. Because if it's any general year, no. This year, even still, I do not care that much. I've never seen a no-hitter from my favorite team. We had the 1 year where there was a bunch of no-hitters, so I didn't think that no-hitters were... I think it kind of watered them down a little bit that year. From this team, I'd much rather have the postseason. I'd much rather have a wild card berth than a no-hitter. I don't think they're in the same stratosphere. Give me a wild card.
Yeah, we had asked over the years, like, is a no-hitter as big a deal? Because we had the biggest drought. We've had the longest current drought in Major League Baseball, and it's one of those, like, it's become a unicorn thing. We've been chasing it. We've been eyeing it down. Anytime we get remotely close to it, like, your tentacles go up. You're like, holy cow, we might be actually be able to get this. And then I stop and I think, what does it do for me? What does it do for me if I get to see it? Now, that's part of the equation here. Like, I don't doubt Nick Wilson's watching every single game. He's dialed in. I put him in the category. Baseball guy. I put Nick Wilson in, and
Nick
Jonathan too.
Nick and Jonathan are good with baseball.
I think they are watching every game and dialed in. But I don't think Cleveland is right now. I think yesterday was probably, as I looked in the stands.
I told you 2.5 days this week is when people should be dialed in.
I asked Owen, I said, all right, you were there without having looked up what the actual paid attendance was, which always going to be an inflated number. We know that. How many did you think were actually there?
11% of the stadium was there. I mean, it was not.
A couple thousand?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe? Okay, they listed it at 15.
No,
and
I've been to the stadium several times. It was not 15. It might have been 15 paid.
I think yesterday
15.
might have been the biggest gap all year in terms of paid versus actually walk through the turnstile. So I think that's the story from here on out, unless you get to the final week of the season and they have a real shot. Then I think, all right, the crowds will be back. Everybody's into it. So if they get a no-hitter, like if yesterday would have been a no-hitter, especially a road game, what if they would have been on the road? I don't think that is going to be up there in Cleveland sports lore. Like say, had it happened in July.
Yeah.
I just don't think... Now, once football starts, I think it's one of those, like, a lot of people say they watched it, but did they really?
So you and I agree. Let me take it to a different tack. Now, usually I would be
I just don't think it'll be anywhere near as big of a deal.
Usually I would be doing what I can to demean and discredit Nick's point, because that's what we do with each other's shows. I'm not going to do that. I get where he's talking about it, but I also know that if they don't make the postseason after a after an ALCS run, I think a lot of people, like, once if they're officially out, I'm not gonna say once, if they are officially out here in the next few weeks, I think that the gloves are going to come off with a lot of folks, and they're going to be mad. It does not make a consolation prize if they are not a wild card team and I get a no-hitter out of it. I'd much rather make the postseason, because I'll take a page out of your book. How much better does Stephen Vogt look if they actually make the wild card? How much better do the young guys look if they make the wild card? Because essentially, I mean, you don't have, some people said, well, essentially have the same team, but you don't have Lane Thomas. Lane Thomas.
Well, we all agree they're worse. They're worse than last year.
So they're worse than last year.
Yeah,
and because
worse
of some
defense,
of the guys that
worse relief pitching.
Yes. So
worse power.
You've had and you don't have Emmanuel Clase because of his alleged dalliances. So you don't have Luis Ortiz, who was starting to come around here or there because of his alleged dalliances. So you are, on paper, a worse baseball team. So you've been worse. If you make the postseason, I know it's an extra postseason slot, and I know there might not be as much fervor for the Guardians going into this postseason, as it would be last postseason. But man, I really think we got to see the entire scope of things. I've seen some great Guardians/Indians baseball over the last 40 years. We've been blessed because of building the stadium and the Jacobs and the beginning and all this other stuff, and they have been a good, responsible franchise. So we've been blessed to see good competitive baseball. I'd much rather see more of it than a no-hitter. I've lived without a no-hitter for a long time. I don't stay up at night trying to see no-hitters. I've heard the stories about Len Barker's no-hitter. It's great. I know that I think Toby Harrah made the last out. Great. Like, that's and good for them. Good for the perfect game. Congratulations on the perfect game. It's a hard thing to do, and it should be celebrated every year on the anniversary, but it's not the end-all, be-all, for crying out loud. And I'd much rather, with this team, give me the wild card. I don't care.
I just feel like it was so much a bigger deal when I was younger. And I do ask, is it a bigger deal? What if it's just a road game?
But it also, baseball was bigger.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. And then so often, these pitchers, they dance around, they go from team to team. Maybe it'd be one thing if it would have been Corey Kluber or Shane. But if it's just a pitcher that's, not going to be here in 2 years.
But you look at when David Wells and David Cohn did it, the game was a big deal in our generation. And now it's like
the Nolan Ryan no-hitters.
If a guy does it on another team on a Thursday, it's like, that's just fine. Mm-hmm. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we go around the AFC North. In 5 minutes, if we're feeling that good after a loss, maybe we should just expect a win coming up on Sunday. Is that so crazy? Ken Carman, Anthony Lyman, take us with you to work in the free Odyssey app.
Anthony Lyman for Vans.
Crocker to Euclid Avenue. This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
Tune in Thursday nights at 7 to hear from the Browns head coach himself.
Points are at a premium, obviously, so that's frustrating. We are not going to play perfect. We're not going to coach perfect. There's going to be times that we don't do it exactly how we want it to be done. So we'll clean those things up. But yeah, those are frustrating moments.
The Kevin Stefanski Show, Thursday night at 7.
Your home for Browns football, 92.3 The Fan.
Correction, real quick, before we set sail with all this other stuff. It was Rick Manning who made the last out. Rick Manning. And the Len Barker perfect game. Toby Harrah went over the rail. And for whatever reason, I had that in my head because there's a great highlight of it. Toby Harrah, by the way, from Sissonville, West by God, Virginia, where they have a nice gas station / Subway right off 77 South when you go there. I always end up stopping in Sissonville, West Virginia every time I'm away down south. It always adds, somehow, the gas, everything. It's just like, boom, there you are. Sissonville, West Virginia. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but they seem to be a fine community down there. But yeah, it was Toby Harrah who went over the rail, but then it was Rick Manning who got the last out of the Len Barker. Perfect game. So I just wanted to make sure that was all corrected. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we go around the AFC North. Ken Wyman, James Rapine, Andrew Filipponi in Pittsburgh. So we'll see what's going on over there. They're getting Jabril Peppers in Pittsburgh.
I saw that.
He's going to be playing safety in Cleveland. Hey,
did you see what Tomlin said?
What?
He's a football player.
Yeah, that's what he does.
He's a football player.
He's a golfer. What does he do? He golfs.
He golfs.
All right. So I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm not trying to be irresponsible. Right? That's not the word. I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm not trying to be a problem with everybody. I read an article from Jason Lloyd. And the whole thing, Lloyd, Browns' bungling loss to Bengals wasn't half bad if you have the right perspective. Okay? Then I heard John Fana yesterday on Afternoon Drive. And John, John makes the videos where he goes, I'm ticked. And we love John. He's probably up listening right now because John's nuts. And while I love John, John's like, there's plenty of good things to see. There's lots of great perspective, and the young guys played well. And we've always been couching this with, the young guys played well, and we still got to develop guys, and it's tough. And I'm going, okay, if everybody played well, we have the right perspective, then why am I hearing Daryl and Jake Volnick last night joking about getting blown out by 21? Like, hopefully we won't get blown out by 21. Well, okay, Cincinnati is not a middle school team. Cincinnati's a team that's paid their 2 wide receivers. I know they moved some money around some way somehow because the Browns are broke as an NFL team. They moved some money around. They got Trey Hendrickson paid for the year at least. And you have this team that I really think, in so many ways, shouldn't they have the Super Bowl aspirations, the Cincinnati Bengals? Should they or should they not have at least the playoffs as a standard for that football team? Like, nobody here is really talking playoffs, and rightfully so. But I'm going, okay, if you can beat that team that's supposed to be a playoff team, then can I hold us to any sort of a standard? Like, I wouldn't pick us to win against the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not going to do that, but it's just like we're going to go in. It's like, all right, we're going to play the Ravens. Things aren't going to go well. It's like, well, if we are building up all this goodwill with these young guys, are we then setting ourselves up for a massive letdown and then a massive overreaction on Monday? Because if everything just went hunky-dory and we ended up losing by a kicker, if you go out there and you get boat raced on Sunday, I imagine now you're going to start off 2-0, and the reaction is going to be an overreaction on Monday morning. Does that make a point to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it does. It sounds like I lost you there halfway through.
No, I mean, well,
at least it looks like it. They can see on YouTube Live now.
I think that
you were thinking of other things.
I haven't come across anybody that thinks we're going to win this week. Like, even the biggest of homers don't think we're going to win this week. But if that defense really causes problems, because the Bills caused no problems for outside of the Derrick Henry fumble. And yeah, there were some conservative second half possessions by Baltimore, but had they have just been the same Baltimore all game long, Buffalo could not stop them.
Yeah.
And Buffalo's considered a Super Bowl contender. So if the Browns slow that offense down and they get a handle on that RPO game that they had going on where, I mean, they made it look easy against the Bills. Lamar Jackson was just like, all right, I think I'll give it to him on this one. 30 yards. I think I'm going to keep it 20 yards. I mean, they're averaging 10 yards a carry, I think, in that game. If all of a sudden the Browns do to them what they did, anything remotely close to what they did to Cincinnati last week, win or lose, there are going to be some moral victories. But you're still going to be 0-2, and it's not going to be looking pretty as, the Green Bay Packers are going to be waiting for you. And they're coming here, but they've got the extra rest and all that. How physical is your game against Baltimore? Like, you can possess two different thoughts at the same time. Like, all right, this season's still going to be bad. Well, but man, they are competent. They are better than we thought. They're not one of the bottom 3 teams in the league, which everybody thought going into the season.
So, but it's still early. It's still week 1. And I think this week is when you start to figure out some who these teams really are. I mean, you've seen teams win week 1 and then not really win for the rest of the season before. I mean, you've seen teams go out and have big surprises.
We've only been 0-2. The last time we were 0-2 was, I think, 2017. Think about that. The Browns are bad almost every year. And save 2 years, and we don't go 0-2. Last year, we were abysmal. We didn't go 0-2. We won one of those games.
Well, if I come in here on Monday and they lose the game 24-14, and I'm not screaming and yelling and calling for fire-ins, I don't want to hear it on the back end because everybody was wonderful. Like, I find it very hard to believe, and I know the Browns find ways to lose games. I find it very hard to believe that we're just going to lose because of an Andre Schmidt missed field goal again against Baltimore on the road with that stadium, with what's about to go on in that stadium, which we'll talk about coming up at 6:43 this morning. Like, I find it really hard to believe that's going to happen. Like, if you're playing young guys, eventually young guys are going to make mistakes. And so Carson Schlesinger, who looks like he knows what everybody's doing at all times, there's going to be 1 or 2 times he might get caught.
Yeah, there's tape on him now.
What's going on.
And you're going up against a very different type of attack.
So we know tendencies. Well, Greg Newsome played a great game on Sunday.
He did.
How much do we trust Greg Newsome to continue that for the rest of the season? The records show, not really. I hope it goes his way, but records show not really. So if we're going to all have proper perspective and say, hey, you know what, it was a good outing. Okay, then I'm going to move some things and talk moral victories then. If Sunday was a moral victory, and we're doing our moral victory schedule and we're 1-0 in moral victories, then don't be surprised if I don't come in here and start screaming and yelling about Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski and lack of leadership and all those other things if they go out there and they just lose by 10. Now, if they go out there and get hammered by 40, maybe I'm going to feel differently. But if they lose a natural NFL football game where it's like, hey, we had the ball, we turned it over. We turned it over on downs. They kicked the field goal, a 7-point deficit ended up being a 10-point deficit. 30-20, we lose. All right, that's a football game.
Well, don't we have
You're not as good as the Ravens
in some capacity, don't we have to revert back to what we did say, what almost everybody said about the team at the start of the year, which was the schedule is brutal to start out. So you add it up. We were 5.5-point dogs week 1.
Yeah.
We're anywhere from 11.5 to 12.5 week 2. I think we could be double-digit underdogs the following week. If you add up those points, it's got to be the most in the NFL. So you are expected to be 0-3 to start out the season. So you do have to deal with that in terms of how it actually looks. Like, were you plucky in all 3 games? Did you pull one of the games out? Holy cow. Did you pull 2 of the games out? Like, 2 of them are at home.
Yeah.
You lost the first one. All right. Well, we won a game in Baltimore with Deshaun Watson. And it was a come-from-behind win in Baltimore. And that was a really good Baltimore team. So, like, it can happen. I just think there does have to be some semblance of how is this compared to your expectations. I think you can also do big picture stuff and say, all right, it's year 6 and all of that. But in the moment, like, they're supposed to lose these games. They're supposed to lose in a big way this week. Let's see if their defense is as advertised. Because we've held Joe Burrow and we've held the Bengals before. We match up against them well. What do we do here against Baltimore? A team we split. We have been able to pull the splits against.
And what in this, because this is really unknown here. Legendary coaches get chances to go through rebuilds. Kevin is, I think, a good coach. He ain't no legend. And it's weird where you're kind of going through this roster transition. You really haven't accomplished much. So now I think a Browns fan finds themselves at an emotional crossroads of how to react towards having wins snatched away from you, losing football games, compared to having young guys on the football team and comparing it to the people being in charge going into year 6 or right now in year 6. So if it were rookie head coach Kevin Stefanski and it was rookie general manager Andrew Berry, and I'd go, hey, Schlesinger had a great game, this, that, and the other, you ain't gonna be that mad. But it's 6 years for both. And I got guys who are paid on this football team a lot of money. I mean, there's only $18 million in cap space after they reworked Denzel Ward's contract. You would think that a team with $18 million in cap space should be a team that's trying to compete and go to the playoffs. So you have to meld all that together and go, how do I react? How do I react and be fair to my own emotions as a fan? Or I think we could find ourselves at the end of the month going, you know what? To hell with it. To hell with them all. Can't stand this. Like, It's closer to going that way than it is to going into a reasonable, hey, things are getting better. No, it worked last week, but I can't see you losing just because of missed field goals every single week. And if you do, boy, you've really hit the needle on a thread right there. Because I think we're setting ourselves up. If they go out there and they get rolled in Baltimore, especially because they're going to show all the pregame stuff, they're going to roll out who. They're going to roll out family members of who, I should say. If they roll out who, that'd certainly be something. We're talking Lennon there. But if they're going to roll out family members of who, and I think people are going to see that. And if they go down and they get beat like dogs, Monday morning's going to be a rough one. Even if Carson Schlesinger plays well, even if Dylan Sampson looks like a fire plug and Harold Fannin and so on and so forth. Like, I just think that some of this perspective, I just don't want to make sure. I want to make sure we ain't lying to ourselves, Tone. I want to make sure we ain't lying to ourselves emotionally.
Yeah, we're in a good spot where a lot of people in a rare time in Cleveland, especially with football, could feel decent about a loss. That won't be the case a week from now if exactly what you're talking about goes down.
A totally classless move by a holier-than-thou organization. 6:43 on the Fan.
Anthony Limo Ford.
weekend.
This report is brought to you by Tri-C's accounting program, Cuyahoga Community College. Tri-C's accounting program provides the foundation for a payroll, bookkeeping, or tax career with an eye toward future advancement to supervisory positions. Learn more at tri-c.edu/accounting. tri-c.edu/accounting.
There's only one place for a full recap of practice in Berea. Overtime with Jake Volnick. Weeknights at 7. 92.3 The Fan.
Following isn't about Ravens fans. It is what it is. The following is about the Ravens organization, which I know a lot of fans feel that they're a part of the organization, so I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of nasty things from Ravens fans after this, like Baskin is getting right now from a lot of nasty Ravens fans, or now a lot of nasty messages from Ravens fans after he had this to say yesterday about the Ravens celebrating 30 years of existence Sunday against the Browns.
I just think it's kind of horse, you know what, that they're doing this against the Browns. And I understand that they probably wanted to do it in their season opener. But, I mean, did you really have to pick the Cleveland game to do this? Is that, I mean, you want to talk about just like poking the bear on something. And the problem I have with the whole thing is that I care, people my age care, anyone that rooted for the Browns more than 30 years ago cares. I just think it's a real move on the Ravens to do this against the Browns. Tacky is like the word I'm trying to use. I can't be alone in the way I feel about the fact that what a bunch of clowns the Ravens are. Yes, good organization. Yes, we love Ozzie for what he did in Cleveland. But, I mean, did they really have to pick this game to celebrate their 30th season? That's a giant middle finger to all of you. Classless. You couldn't have picked any other game.
I totally agree with Baskin.
It was awesome to hear it.
It was great to hear what he said. It was something we talked about when they first announced it. You know, this is a totally, as Baskin says, a totally classless move. The organization is holier than thou. They act as if they don't have skeletons in their closet. They do. Every organization has skeletons in their closet. The Ravens somehow act like they are immune to anything of any nasty things that come with the NFL. And when you get into the nitty gritty of what they're doing, like my theory was, I think this is a giant bleep you to the people who have done their best. I think this is really a bleep you to the fans of Cleveland from the organization, not the fans of the Ravens, from the organization, because I think that they know that Canton, Ohio is obviously 60 miles away, 50-something miles away from Cleveland, and they have wanted to get Art Modell in the Hall of Fame when he was alive, then posthumously, and they also know that it's probably never going to happen because the voters don't want it to happen, because they also think that they know that any chance that they get that they see him on the board, people in Northeast Ohio, which are predominantly Browns fans, are going to boo their faces off. And the NFL doesn't want that look, and the Hall of Fame doesn't want that look because of the history. And rightfully so. If you can't make money in the NFL, I can't tell you how bad of a businessman you are. The people we call boobs in the NFL make money hand over fist. Jerry Jones, what did I do after that press conference after he traded Micah Parsons? I was like, oh, this is an even trade. No, it's not. This guy's an idiot. I can't believe he did what he did. Yeah, he's an idiot. He laughs all the way to the bank. What a moron. Can barely read or write. How much money has he made for himself and the rest of the NFL? Billions and billions and billions and billions and billions. And you can't make money as an NFL owner? What's that say about you? And let's not even start about what he did to the Indians with rent for many, many years that people do not regularly realize. And you can go listen to that. I'll give a shout out to another podcast, the Sable Brothers podcast. They did a whole expose on that, with how Art Modell basically kept the Indians down for 30 years. But you look at who they're rolling out. Jamison Hensley of ESPN.
Oh, I thought you meant they're rolling out Jamison Hensley.
No.
I'm like, damn, they're really including everybody.
He reports Sunday's Ravens legend of the game, Ozzie Newsome. Honorary captains, John Moak, Paris Glendenning, Kurt Schmoke, and John Modell.
We got Schmidt. They got Schmoke.
They don't want that smoke.
30th season celebration in stadium entertainment will include special pregame recognition honoring pro football's return to Baltimore in 1996, and a halftime show featuring Ravens legends and mixed reality show on Ravens Vision video boards. So I think it's very, very, very personal from the organization of the Ravens to Browns fans. as a giant FU to Browns fans.
Yeah, so they're saying that this had been in the works well before the schedule came out. They even had noted to season ticket holders that week one. There's actual, I don't know, online, they posted the documents. They said it's going to be week one regardless of who they play, and that was before the schedule. So people are saying the NFL is who you should go after here. Because if the NFL paired these teams up against each other, because we know what a logistical nightmare the schedule making is in the NFL, you've got to figure out all the dates and then worry about the teams coming back from overseas and all of that. Like, if that is true, that they were already telling season ticket holders like they were going to have this event regardless before the schedule come out, and then the schedule comes out and you see, boom, it's the Browns and the Ravens. Should you direct your anger at the NFL?
I want to ask you a question. The first time they went to London, remember you talked to those people in the bar and they happened to be in town? Mm-hmm. When did they know that they were going to be going to London? Wasn't it the year before?
It was like months in advance.
Yeah. So you're telling me that the Ravens didn't know when the schedule was coming out? At all? The schedule may come out in May. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't believe that they didn't have any idea. I don't believe it. I refuse to believe it. Well, I shouldn't refuse to believe it.
It'd be interesting to know,
I don't believe
when they get, especially the opener, right? Because this year we got no leaks. There were no leaks even the week of. If people knew that it was going to be the Browns like months in advance, you would have thought it would have leaked out, almost to rub it in further. Like, guess what? You're going to get the Ravens celebration.
So, like, if you said it and you go, you know what? We don't know. First ever one. If you were to do it even last year, maybe I'll find that out. Maybe I'll walk it back. I've wanted to walk back things before. But I believe it's a spit in the face to Browns fans because I think that they've wanted Art Modell in the Hall of Fame for a long time, and they know they're never going to get Art Modell in the Hall of Fame. So they want to have their celebration while it's with the Browns. I don't think that it's going to affect Myles Garrett or Denzel Ward or I know Denzel's from here.
Yeah, they're going to get extra fired up on behalf of Browns fans.
No.
I mean, Myles Garrett wanted out of the city over the offseason. Does he care? Probably not.
Well, it's also that, Jarvis Landry, I think if Jarvis Landry came back and was a dog pound captain, I think people would love Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry did not know, famously, that the Ravens were formerly the Browns.
Yeah, that was the line of demarcation. Yeah. Everybody after him, you're like, oh, man, if Jarvis, of all people, didn't know. My bigger question
now...
from
New Orleans, Louisiana, or maybe Baton Rouge. He's still from Louisiana.
Yeah, my bigger question now is, are they going to involve a guy who won a Super Bowl at quarterback for their franchise? Is Joe Flacco going to be a part of this celebration? Are they going to show deference to him? And is he, in turn, as somebody who that was the team that drafted him, the team that helped nurture him? I mean, yeah, they eventually got rid of him, but he did win a Super Bowl there. So is he going to be included in this? And how are Browns fans going to feel about that?
Knowing how pregame?
Yeah, knowing how big of a game this is for the Browns. If Flacco is all smiles with his former organization, and could you blame him for being all smiles?
I won't blame him. His history is predominantly with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, if he goes off and wins a Super Bowl with the Browns this year, I think we're going to have ourselves a conversation. But
that'll be fun.
There's a lot more things that could possibly happen that I would be I'd be less surprised about there. If they were to pull him out there, it's to me, it's just another stab. It's just another thing at us. Joe Flacco is really well liked here, obviously, but his history is in Baltimore. If they had to pull him out there for a pregame of here's some trinket of God knows what, who knows, they'll probably make something up over there. Here's some trinket of God knows what. Here you go. Thanks for the Super Bowl and the memories, and thanks for keeping Lamar's seat warm while he took over here. By the way, you're playing against him today, the guy that we jettisoned you for.
He'll get a standing ovation.
Of course he will. You won a Super Bowl there, and rightfully so. This ain't against the fan. I ain't mad at the fans over there. I ain't mad at the fans.
Well, Nick did call them fraudulent fans during yesterday's show. I did hear him say. He said Baltimore has fraudulent fans.
Why is that?
I think because they accepted the team, I guess. Were they supposed to reject the team? Are they supposed to all take it to a vote and say, we don't want a football team from somewhere else?
I would accept the team.
I remember we thought we were getting Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I remember Triv came on and he was saying, we're getting the Buccaneers. I'm 99% sure. And not one fan was like, nope, don't want them. That's not right to take another team. Like, nobody cared. They would have all universally accepted them.
It's unfortunate. I would say, just like what they said in Baltimore. I've watched the documentary several times. It's really unfortunate for the people in Cleveland, but they got a team. And I would have said it's really unfortunate for the people in Tampa and St. Pete and that area, but we got ourselves a team. thankfully, we didn't have to do anything like that. But still, I look at this as basically a spit in the face to Browns fans. Is how I feel about this.
Definitely.
And I think it's from the organization.
Here's what I want to know. Last thing, how many Browns highlights will be and lowlights will be in like their video montage? Because that's how you know they're definitely rubbing it in as much as they can. Like, are they going to show all sorts of Jamal Lewis against the Browns, 300-yard, whatever he had that one game? Like, is it going to be a bunch of those just to pour more salt in the wound?
216-474-0092. All right, would you be? Do you want to ask if they'd be upset if Flacco was included? I'd be mad at the Ravens, I guess, for making him be a part of that. Like, I'm not mad at Joe. Your history is your history. I respect you as a player and as a person. That's your history. That's your legacy. I can understand that. I want to know if people really care. If they still, I'm 39, you're 44. There's plenty of people like, you know what, they've lost for so long. I've had people get viscerally angry saying the real Browns are in Baltimore, which is nuts to me. Do you care? 216-474-0092. Ken Carman, Anthony Lyman coming up as well. In a way, this could be the best thing for Andre Schmidt. Lima had a wild idea yesterday on the Fan.
Anthony Lima for Floors with a Z.
5, live right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
All the Browns and NFL news you may have missed at work. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
Taylor Carlisle. Twitter reactions brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. On top of the Ravens' 30th BS, why on earth are they celebrating the 70? Why on earth are they celebrating the 75 Colts? That team moved. It's like the Texans celebrating the Oilers. It's ridiculous. Which our buddy Figgy down at Sports Radio 610 in Houston, Ed, he's from here. He just got wind. He's not. It's weird. He's a producer and he does a lot of podcast radio. He's not a big sports guy, and he works down in Houston. And he just got wind of this. He's like, man, this is like when the Titans do the whole wearing the Oilers thing
so
when
weird
they play the.
So weird.
Yeah, and I said that's when this first came out. I go, that's exactly what this is. To me, it's a trolling of the fans, and I think it's a serious trolling because I don't think anybody ever putting Bud Adams in the Hall of Fame. Was there any argument for that? I don't think there ever was. So. There's been a serious argument for art, and I think that this is a giant, okay, you're going to keep our founder, who left in the cover of darkness, if you're going to leave our founder out of the Hall of Fame, okay, we'll get you, and I think this is their way of getting us. And then, but I do want to ask, because this is where I separate. I spoke to a class in Chagrin Falls yesterday.
Whoa!
At Chagrin Falls High School.
Hello.
And I told him that I am. There was like 50 of them, so I told them. And I've said this before in the air, and sometimes it's misconstrued. I like the Browns, Guardians, and Cavs. And I'm a fan of them.
Those are my teams too.
Well, you know what? That's crazy. But when the Browns made the playoffs, and we embarrassingly but quite well-knowingly got emotional when they made the playoffs in 2020, I didn't get emotional over the players making the playoffs. I got emotional for the fans. I am more of a fan of the fans than I am of the teams. Our relationship is closest with the fans, not with the teams. And if you don't want to fight that fight anymore, just let me know. Because I'm very defensive of the fans. I'm very defensive of the region. They're mostly predominantly Cleveland sports fans. So it's the people that get me emotionally involved. And this is why I'm strong, and this is why I think that Baskin's so strong about this. I don't think that this is any shot at Browns ownership or Browns front office or Browns players. I don't think the players on either side really care about any of this. But when it comes to the fans, yeah, they know that the Hall of Fame is in Canton, and I think that this is a direct shot by the organization. And that organization over there, we all have skeletons in our closet. We all know. I can't throw a lot of stones at a lot of organizations, clearly. But, I mean, that whole, we're the Ravens and we do things differently. Do you? Because there's a lot of different things. I mean, hell, just over the wintertime, people were replaying John Harbaugh's own words. I mean, let's not sit here and act like you're the 700 club over there, guys. And the holier-than-thou mentality, the we do things differently, we do things better. Nah, you're just as seedy as every other NFL franchise. Don't act like you aren't. And then doing this, I think, proves it to a degree. Because I don't want to troll. I don't want the Browns. I'll troll Steelers fans all day. I'll call into Steelers radio and under Jim in Ohio or Jim in Youngstown and goof off all day because I'm just a carnival barker. You'll do the same thing, Tone. The Browns don't need to troll anybody else. I don't want the Browns to troll anybody else as an organization. I don't want that. Even the social media stuff, I go, it's social media. It's a 20-year-old doing it, but I still don't really want to get involved. I just think that this is an organizational shot at not even the Browns as an organization. I think it's a shot at the fans.
Is this, we talked about Flacco and how they'll incorporate him in any of this. Is this anything that Kevin Stefanski can use to fire up the team, or is it going to be ignored?
No, I don't think so. I think that.
So it seems like we're at a disadvantageous position then, because Like, they're going to be feeding off all that we already know how good they are at home, but that place is going to be going bonkers.
Yeah.
That place is going to be a big pep rally. And, our players probably, how many of them even care that this is the case? So does this give the Ravens even that much more of an edge because that place is going to be rocking the way it will be?
Maybe I think it gets the fans going a little bit.
Is there anything Stefanski could say or should say?
Yeah, but if you can get a turnover to begin the game or something like that, if your defense plays well, then I think that helps. I think that if you're Kevin Stefanski, you tell him the same thing you would in any other game, even though there's going to be a celebration before, is that it's a loud place. It's a college-like atmosphere. They are a loud fan base there. And you're going to have to make sure that we pay attention to every sign, every signal, covering up your ear holes and all that other stuff. I think it's the same thing as always. But I think that if you go and try to motivate guys from Arlington, Texas about the history of the Browns and the Ravens, I don't know if it's going to necessarily hit. I don't know if it is, because it's professional football, and I think it's more, when you have more personal rivalries, I think that hits a little bit better. When you have Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph getting into it, Myles Garrett, there's a personal thing now with Steelers fans forever. There's a personal thing between Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and the Browns secondary for as long as they are members of these two teams. When it comes to the Ravens and the Browns, hey, if we were in AFC divisional round playoff games with each other over and over and over again, the way that the Ravens and Bills are, and so we'd be a bigger rival. But I don't think it's going to land. Ohio State, Michigan, I think you can brainwash guys in college. I don't think you can do it in the pros.
Should we get Steve Everett to march our guys out on the football field with his bandana?
I've heard worse arguments. I've heard worse ideas. 216-474-0092. I think Baskin has his number. Lou in North Royalton, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, Lou.
Hey, guys, I'm going to dispense with the pleasantries and the niceties today because I'm pissed AF. Yeah, I'm mad at everybody. I'm mad at the Maryland ain't nothing but a fake-ass state. Baltimore ain't nothing but a fake-ass city. And the fans are nothing but a fake-ass bunch of fans. I remember the day crystal clear, November 6th, 10:30 in the morning. I was sitting in my office in Hudson, Ohio, watching it on a frickin' 19-inch black and white TV, and that smiling fool, I can't even say his name. I hope he burns in hell, but I can't say his name. I almost, when they announced that he was going there, Glenn Denning was laughing. They're all over there thinking it was a big-ass joke, and I almost picked up my chair and threw it to that stupid dang TV. I'm pissed as heck, and I hope, and if Flacco's half of a man and has any cojones, he would say F you to that entire team and say, I'm not coming out, I'm not doing anything, I'm not acknowledging you people. They pretty much kicked him to the curb when that other fake-ass quarterback came in and took his place. And they will. The Ravens have the curse of that idiot that moved the team, and they will never win another Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson as their freaking quarterback.
Lou, thank you very much for the call. I respect the feelings. I don't want to say nothing about their fans. I don't think they have a bad fan base.
You will have to explain the jinx thing, the curse thing to me, because they do have two Super Bowls. So I think
I don't know about that. Well, I don't
think there's a lot of evidence of a curse. I don't understand
why there's there's an Art Modell curse on us. Why is there an Art Modell curse on us?
Why would we have to pay the price?
I don't understand it.
Should we get a Mike White curse?
Maybe there's a Mike White, but he's still. Well, Art Modell was still alive.
Have you seen one alpaca in downtown Cleveland?
No,
Mike White left.
I haven't.
Well,
they all left. They
that's the curse.
Fled the
I heard
city.
He sold that farm, by the way.
Oh, come on!
I know.
Ran that to the ground too.
After 2029, Justin Bibb, there's your future. Head on down to Newcomers Town. It's time for an alpaca farm. Josh in Elyria.
Just getting started
To feed the alpacas. Josh in Elyria, you're next up on the Fan.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Hi, Josh.
So I'm a 41-year-old Browns fan. One of my fondest memories is cutting my grandfather's seats out of Old Municipal. They're still in my garage. God rest his bones. God damn that guy's bones. I hope he rots in hell, and the day I give a bleep about what the Modell family or the organization over there thinks, I will have a tag on my toe. That said, our anger is valid. If you want to come after us as fans, go for it. That's only going to, quote unquote, help your case getting him into Canton. Good luck with that. That said, go Browns, F the Ravens, and good day, gents.
Josh, thank you very much for the call. I do. I think it's a low rent, low class shot at you, at fans.
It's just,
I don't like
when
it.
I asked you about the NFL, like, clearly the NFL.
You cannot tell me, they sit there and they say that the NFL, you can't tell me you can't redo plans. You cannot tell me you can't redo plans.
So is the NFL,
oh my God, you're telling
NFL
me
complicit
it's
in this?
that hard to fly in Johnny. Hold on. You're telling me it's that hard to fly in Johnny Unitas. It's that hard to fly. And I'm sure the NFL actually loves it because there's passion for a Week 2 game. I'm sure they actually do. I'm sure they actually would love. You play this audio, I bet the NFL loves it because it's part of their entertainment factor. But you're telling me you couldn't fly in Johnny Unitas on another day, even if you did know, even if you didn't know, like, we didn't know that they were going to put the Browns in Week 2. You're telling me that you can't fly in Johnny Unitas in Week 3, or you can't. I don't know where Ozzie Newsome makes his home now. You can't fly in Ozzie in Week 3. It's impossible to have this celebration at any other time. Impossible. I don't believe you. I never will. It's a garbage move. It's a fraudulent, holier-than-thou franchise, and it's unforgivable to me. And of all the creepy, crappy things that have ever been done, this is the latest in the line of them.
But are you really upset at the fact that you think we might not be able to actually pick a fight here because they got the way better team, so we're going to come out looking worse no matter what?
Yes, part of that as well. Yeah.
Like if we had a team that could go toe to toe with them.
What's the line? 9.5?
No, it's
12.5.
12.5 is the line.
It's the biggest line of the week.
Part of that is that. Yeah, part of it is that. I'll admit, because I'd love to stick it to them, and I wouldn't even be talking trash about the Ravens fans. I'd be talking trash about the organization, and I'll continue to talk trash about that organization because it's ridiculous to me, and it should be ridiculous to a lot of people out there. And this is where I draw the line. Like I have several people who are around our age. Ken, I've been a Browns fan for a long time. The Browns have been terrible. I don't care anymore. I do. I care because of that sentiment.
I got to tell you,
I care because of that
social media,
sentiment.
I'm seeing a lot of that. Basically, we've had 30 years to get our act together, and it's on us that we haven't been able to do it.
But it is on the Browns. It is on the Browns.
So is that where your anger really is?
But who got it started in that direction? Who got it started in that direction? Who pulled the rug out from under in 1990 after 1994? Who pulled the rug out from under a playoff team? Who's the one who sat there and watched the stadium crumble that he owned and still wouldn't work with Gateway? Who was that guy? Who was that guy that I'm still yelling about years after he's dead? So obviously I'm going to continue to yell about the guy until I'm dead because we can't get our act together. That's on the Browns organization that they can't get the act together from Al Lerner all the way to now. That is on them. That is on them. But I cannot stand, I remember it, you remember it, the way that people felt. And it's changed this area and this fan base forever. Forever. And so I'm not going to stand by and allow that garbage to just, I have to watch it go on, but I'm not going to sit here and be quiet about it.
Yeah, I wish we could do something about it. There's not much we can really do about it.
There's nothing I can do about it, and there's nothing I'm going to do about it, because obviously that's a problem. But I'm not going to stand by quietly and just let it happen. Took one of the best front office guys ever in the history of the game, moved the team out, left us not knowing anything, tried to take the history with him. And now it's to the point where I get people yelling at me about, well, they're the real Browns over there. No, they're not. They are the Ravens.
Does firing Belichick look good now that we question his coaching?
No, we didn't fire Belichick. They fired Belichick.
That's what I said.
I don't care.
Another win for the Browns right now. Line has moved down to 11.5.
Whoa! Boom. Maybe they think that Stefanski's going to rile up the troops.
That's right.
The whole apathy thing is why I'm half mad in the first place. Patrick on the road, hello.
Hey, appreciate the passion and appreciate the conversation. I've been dreading this week. I lived in Baltimore for 10 years during their second Super Bowl run. It's really there's so many things wrong with the fact that this game is scheduled this weekend. That said, it's painful, like you said, Ken, because the Browns haven't gotten their act together. but it's classless. It really comes down to the fact that it's classless on a lot of levels.
Exactly. See, this is the thing. If it were a shot at the Browns, it'd be a shot at the Browns. Like, well, yeah, you guys can't get your act together. This is the way it goes. It's a shot at you, Patrick, okay? It's a shot at the fans. And the fans aren't the ones that haven't been able to get their act together over the last 30 years. The fans have had their act together for 30 years.
And their fans having been there, every time I brought up the move when I was there and my frustration, well, at least it didn't happen in the middle of the night. And, well, you got to keep your colors. And there was always a justification for, like, it was okay that they did it because it happened to them. And, like, can you just recognize that this was also a bad thing, that you guys as a fan base are benefiting from a bad thing, and that it's something their fan base just they would not recognize. I'm like, you owe me a beer, like, for crying out loud. Why do you keep justifying this and they continue to justify? Every fan I ever ran into justified the move, and it was just like there's no justification. It was a bad thing.
Again, I don't know if it were the other way around.
I'll tell you though, the more and more I hear you talk, Ken, it sounds like you're actually mad at the Browns because had the Browns have won 2 Super Bowls, you would not care. In fact, you'd use this as a rallying cry, even much more so. You'd be talking so much trash to Baltimore had we have gotten the Super Bowls and not them. And it's because of our incompetence, our ownership over the years, our front offices, our never-ending quarterbacks, kickers, and coaches. Like, I just don't think you would care about this nearly as much if we were a winning organization.
Absolutely fair point. That's true. That's true. If we had 2 Super Bowls, it wouldn't matter as much. You're right about that. Because when the guy leaves in the first place and takes the team, that's the start of the beginning of what we're in right now. And you are right. To watch fans many of which we've met, who have become friends even, to watch them become apathetic, it makes me angry. To watch players who have become friends of you and I and Owen, to watch them kind of just exist and not really have the type of legacies that maybe they should. And I'm not talking about Joe. Joe's a friend, but Joe's got that legacy. I'm talking about other players. To watch them just kind of exist and not have anything to show for it as far as legacy. You don't just play for the money when you're playing at that level and you play for that long. Yeah, it bothers me. It really does bother me. I can't deny that. 216-474-0092. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we'll go around the AFC North. About last night at 7:45. Boy, what a hell of a performance by Joey Cantillo. We'll get into that. And in a way, Lyman's going to explain it to you because he explained it to me yesterday, and I thought it made a terrific amount of sense, guys. This might be the best thing for Andre Schmidt. Ken Carman, Tone Master General on The Fan.
92.3 The Fan, 2020 Sports.
carpet cleaning for your wall-to-wall carpet. Schedule your work today. ArslanianBROS.com.
Want to talk Browns while you're at work? Baskin and Phelps, weekdays starting at 10 on 92.3 The Fan.
I'm sure there's other kickers you can find, so I'm not worried about them finding a kicker between now and next week. But no more. We're not doing we're investing in the future. There's no investment. It's a zero-sum game, sir. You either make the kick or you don't make the kick. You couldn't make the kick, bye.
So are you on a game-by-game basis, so whoever they bring in next week,
that's fine with me.
They miss,
Yep, that's fine.
What's the threshold?
That's fine. Missing kicks, that's the threshold. Either make or miss the kick.
How many?
That's the
1,
threshold.
2, 3?
As many as it takes. And we are in a week-by-week thing. If you make the kicks, then you get to stay another week. If you don't, I'll just find somebody else. I'm dead serious. Is that a problem? You have a problem with that? I'm trying to be responsible.
I don't think it's a problem. I just don't know that your angle will get them to the finish line of what they're looking for.
Oh, there's a finish line.
Yeah, I don't.
What are they looking for? I want to know. So apparently that was at 6:03 yesterday, Monday morning. Well.
Yeah, that was at 6:03 and it went on.
Just hit the kick for crying out loud.
That's great, Kenny.
What are you talking about?
I think he tried to hit the kick.
Then if you don't hit the kick, then find somebody else who did. You got what you wanted out of me. You want to be mad, and now I'm mad at 6:12. And I'm not even mad at him. I know he didn't try to miss it on purpose. I know he tried to make the kicks, but you didn't make the kicks. I'm sorry, son. You got to go. You got to go. I can't do this. I'll keep trying kickers until we find a kicker who's able to do it.
Would you be...
Lord almighty, you're trying to find every single excuse for some guy whose name you can't even spell.
No, I don't even care about kickers in general.
Get your head out of your ass.
I told
it's
you.
It's a kicker, just find a different one.
Is this some fake Ken?
God. I forgot I said all that. The not being able to spell his last name, I forgot.
Well, they didn't do what you wanted, Ken. They didn't get rid of him.
I guess you would say I sounded pretty moody. Maybe they can go sign Jake Moody.
Anybody?
CSI Miami.
He's available, right?
Lima. Do you want to tell everybody the thought you had with me yesterday?
Okay, so...
This is worth your time. This is good.
So... Obviously, we're all wondering what the solution was going to be because there are no good options. Can we all admit that? Okay, maybe you think just getting rid of the guy that nobody even knew who he was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago until he hit that game winner in the preseason game, and alas, we've found our kicker. So that guy won the kicking competition. The in secret behind closed doors kicking competition that nobody got to see. Even Josh Cribbs was like, yeah, back in my day, we actually used to put people around the kicker at least.
The Wonka factory.
I know. It's great. It was great. So, we're sitting here wondering what's the best of all the bad options? Is it just getting rid of him and bringing in another bad option from another team or Jake Moody, who had a terrible season a year ago, really cost them. And they missed the playoffs because of it. They had injuries too, but he was a big reason why. He was terrible. His numbers, then he comes out and misses kicks. So you're scouring the waiver wire or guys that were the UFL. That's where this dude came from. So there are no great options. What do you do? And I thought to myself, man, this week, of all the kickers in the NFL, this dude will have the most pressure on him. Not only is he going to be on the road in Baltimore trying to spoil the Baltimore Ravens extravaganza and rub it in the face of the Browns, ceremony, but you're also dealing with a team that's own one. He's a big reason, if he's not the only reason, maybe some people think he's the only reason that they lost that game in the opener. He's got to weigh all of that, and his career is on the line. Because if he is indeed the kicker, which we still don't know for sure, but if he is indeed the kicker on Sunday and he misses an extra point,
don't know for sure.
Browns, who knows what they're doing behind the scenes? I don't know.
Care to explain? Do you know something?
No, I don't know anything, but
if he's still the kicker, this is a massive amount of pressure.
This is this is his career as a kicker. He's going to have to find something else to do to make money if this doesn't work out. So if we were looking to simulate the experience of a lot of pressure on kicks. Can he make them?
College?
We don't need to simulate it anymore. It's here. It's this week. Now, he could take down the whole team and they could be 0-2 because of him. But if he makes them and this guy delivers, then can we say we might have our kicker? Because how can you simulate this kind of pressure that he has on Sunday?
He was an NCAA student athlete. Maybe he should have been going pro in something other than football. Okay.
Was he at Newhouse at Syracuse?
You are
broadcaster.
You are correct. But I'd rather them not do the testing in a game that counts. Again, I'd rather just try to simulate the pressure and figure it out from there. While you are totally correct. This is the most amount of pressure that you could put on somebody because now it's like it's out there. Like, hey, you don't make this. That's it. Well, at least it should be. Who knows? It's still, I'd rather just try to simulate the pressure through other means and have a competition or anything else that they would have done other than having it in a game that matters. This game matters. If you miss this, if he misses kicks on Sunday against this team and that it actually hurts and you're not just like, down by 20 or whatever it is, like, come on, I can't. There's no defense anymore.
Well, can I ask you?
There's no defense.
Can I play devil's advocate, though?
Yeah, go right on ahead. I don't care.
How many wins did Vegas say you're going to have this year? The over/under.
Is that any excuse to not have a guy? Did not have a guy who can make kicks?
I'm getting to the point, though. So they had you as, I think, bottom of the league or second worst in the league.
4.5 or 5.
4.5. So nobody thinks you're going to win. Nobody thinks you're going to win. What's important? Why were we excited about the rookies on Sunday? Not because they're going to take us to the playoffs this year. It's a big picture thing, right? Like, we're thinking, hey, next year, probably going to address the quarterback, probably going to address offensive line, maybe left tackle or right tackle. Okay, so we're all in a transition phase anyway. So, yeah, the kicker cost us royally in week 1. But if we're looking big picture, isn't the goal to see who is finding out guys that are going to be on this team in the future? And if this guy overcomes that disastrous debut and ends up being the kicker of the future, isn't this a route you could take to doing that? And then the fact that you're losing games in the meantime, no big deal. It's all a build. It's all a build for something else. Like, we're not excited about Dylan Sampson because of a playoff run this year, are we? We're excited about Dylan Sampson because what could he be? Could he be the third down back and Quinshon Judkins next year and the year after when they're building for a playoff run?
It kills any trust that you have. Are you talking about if he misses kicks, you just leave him in there?
I'm saying that he got 2 games. 2 games, deal with the pressure of 2 games, and if he ends up overcoming the disaster in week 1, this is how you build metal. This is how you build trust within a team. Can you imagine what the guys are going to be saying about this kid if he goes out and hits a 50-yard game winner against Baltimore on the road, spoils their celebration, spoils their homecoming? Isn't that the route?
I think for everybody else.
It's not a preseason game. Preseason game doesn't do that. A quarterback kicking competition in the preseason
doesn't do that either.
That doesn't do anything for Myles Garrett.
But if you don't.
But doing it in Baltimore?
But that's where you upset Myles Garrett. Because Myles Garrett is like, man, I feel like I've been through a car crash on Sunday, and we didn't win, and you're not replacing a guy who I bet Myles Garrett probably feels kickers are pretty replaceable.
Sure.
I bet the rest of the guys who are out there feeling like they're in car crashes feel like the kickers are pretty replaceable.
But he also probably knows it's hard to find one.
I'm sure he does, considering that the team has had many since he started with the Browns, so it's not easy to do. I think that you would look at it and go, well, if we've had that many, then we can go find another. Same thing I said on Monday. And I also believe that if you don't go and make that replacement, then you're going, what are you guys really trying to do? Are you guys really trying to win? Does nothing matter here? Does nothing actually matter? Does wins not matter? In pro sports, where the object is supposed to be winning, where I'm supposed to put my emotions and money behind you to win, you're telling me winning doesn't matter.
Okay, but counterpoint, do you think Myles signed on the dotted line because he thought they were going to win games this year?
No.
I do not think that.
No, I don't.
I don't think winning this year was the priority for Myles Garrett.
No, that's why I no longer think they're wasting his prime. Because, he had every chance to really force his way out and didn't do so. So there's no way I could, I didn't really try to claim that before, but I'm not going to be claiming that now. But I also believe that you want to try to put you want to still do, I don't know if he thought that they were going to win, but while you have the team, I think you want to do everything you can to win. I think he knows there's limitations, being that the quarterback takes up $50 million or whatever the hell it is, and we're in cap hell in so many ways because of that quarterback, because we can't get anything out of him, and the fans don't even want to watch the guy. I think he understands all that, and I think he understands that there's probably a quarterback in college that they're going to go after, but you still, you want to make it worth your blood, sweat, and arguments to go out there and win. 216-474-0092. So if you were to leave him in, go ahead.
One final note. Master's degree at Syracuse in instructional design, development, and evaluation. With a big emphasis
on...
He's
an interior decorator.
With a big emphasis on collaborative problem solving.
I have a problem. There's only one man who can solve it. Do we really need to be collaborative about this? Coming up next, a hell of a performance last night by the Cleveland Guardians. Only one little issue. A lot of other teams are putting on a hell of a good performance right in front of them. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima about last night, coming up in 5 on The Fan.
Anthony Lima for Diamonds Direct.
Score 3 8-ounce cans for $6.50 and save 10 cents off a gallon with the True Rewards app. Available in your favorite app store.
An accident has the left lane blocked 490 East at East 55th. Slowdowns 90 East from Columbia to Carnegie. This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
Behind-the-scenes footage, official contest rules, and everything you need to know about the Cleveland Browns and the local sports scene. 923thefan.com. In your weeknight with the best segments of the day. The Fan Rewind. Weeknights at 11.
So much can happen around the globe that we never hear of.
I really share in our fans' disappointment, frustration. Honestly, I'm embarrassed.
They've been through some tough battles, right? They know what the playoffs looks like. This team's been battle-tested in the playoffs.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him. He couldn't please his wife, so now he's divorced.
Put a damn winning team on the field.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
Another successful night for the Cleveland Guardians, who beat the Kansas City Royals 2-0 to embolden their spot at second place in the AL Central, as well as the AL wild card spot. Another solid performance from Joey Cantillo, who had 8 innings shutout. He had 5 strikeouts on the night, no walks. Stephen Vogt, after the game, talking about Cantillo's solid outing.
That was some of the most fun I've had watching someone pitch this year. 2 starts removed from being optioned, go throw strikes, be free, be loose. We saw the best velocity we've seen from him, attacking strikes, getting ahead, getting quick outs. That was pitching 101 from Joey Cantillo, and that was a lot of fun to watch.
The only downside to last night, the Mariners and the Rangers, both victorious on the night, so the Guardians gained no ground in the AL wild card standings.
In the words of John Sterling, that's baseball, Susan. It was a great outing from Joey Cantillo. He is done a fantastic job in this last outing. And they had Slade Ciccone the other night.
They've really emboldened the rotation.
Oh, boy, you did it. Tony, you want to take over there?
Well, just this is an incredible run by the pitching staff over the last, 5 starts? They haven't given up more than 2 runs in a game. That's as dominating as a performance, as a series of performances as you can possibly have. So it's giving you some hope. But the problem is they got to pitch like this basically from here on out. So can they keep it up?
Even Vogt talked about after the game that it's important for these starters to go longer in the contest, because when you lose a guy like Emmanuel Clase, he didn't mention him by name, but when you lose a guy like Clase to work the 9th innings of every game, you're going to have these guys go the 7s, the 8s, and possibly even the 9s. He left Cantillo in the game to try and finish it, but then, of course, he gave up the leadoff hit that led to Cade Smith coming in. Going from that over to college football yesterday, we have Ohio State's first set of press conferences and their matchup against the Ohio Bobcats this Saturday. We'll get to Ohio's head coach in just a moment here, but Ryan Day talking about how he's not overlooking the Bobcats, but also talking about how he's not a fan of the proposed single transfer portal that would be set for January.
No, I don't think it's a good idea at all. In the conversations that we had with the Big Ten coaches, I think the majority of them agree. I just don't quite understand how, for teams that are playing in the playoffs, are expected to, make the decisions and sign their upcoming players while they're still getting ready to play for games. It doesn't make any sense to me. I know the calendar is funky, but I know that the Big Ten and Tony Petitti's been working hard because he doesn't believe it either, and neither do the coaches in the Big Ten. We've had a lot of long discussions about that and tried to work through the different windows. But I don't agree with it being in January.
Well, if Petitti is working on it, then it seems that it might not actually happen because, he's one of the 2 most powerful commissioners in college football. So if Petitti's that much against it, I imagine the SEC is that much against it, so we probably won't see much of a change. Me, personally, I think your budgets are way bigger than the teams that are never going to make the playoffs but looking for that help. I think this really hurts. That spring portal can destroy what is supposed to be a good year. I mean, I think it's made it very, very difficult. I mean, you got guys coming in after the spring portal who you get about 30 days to get an offense going and get it ready.
I have no idea how they do it.
It's so difficult. You've had coaches talk about how they got 60 new players on their football team because of portal movement in the spring. I think that it needs to be just done in the wintertime.
Yeah, so
I think you make your decision, you made your decision.
I understand exactly what he's saying logically, and if I were him, I'd be fighting for it too. But I think the reality is for college football, the Ohio States of the world have every advantage you could possibly have. The one advantage these other schools have is that the playoff teams are kind of limited because of that. So that's the one spot where these teams that are not funded anywhere near the way or don't have the profile that Ohio State has can at least compete for some players.
So spring football starts in March, right? Is there any chance we could push it back to February? One portal, one time a year, like February 1. February 1. Is there any chance we could do February 1?
I mean,
because that makes it equitable to teams like Ohio State and Michigan who needed to be fair.
It just depends on who you want to benefit from all of this.
Sticking in the same game here on the opposite side, Ohio head coach Brian Smith. First-year head coach Brian Smith talked in his press conference yesterday, and I think this was a slip of the tongue because last week we had the Grambling head coach talking about being like, we know what's going to happen here. So people were like, holy crap, I couldn't believe he said that. This is Smith. He didn't concede already this week, but he did have what I think is a slip of the tongue in his press conference.
Obviously, Ohio State, number one team in the country, but they also have arguably the best two players in college football with Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith. Just what goes into preparing to deal with those two?
Yeah, two of the best receivers in the country for sure. Yeah, so it's definitely our defense has their hands full with that one, which is challenging. What do you want to take away?
To be fair, Caleb Downs is very good at catching interceptions on defense.
Probably just thought he was getting ready to talk about Jeremiah Smith and was thinking about the other wide receivers too. Is that? I imagine that's what he was thinking there, Tone.
And they don't. I just don't think college coaches, they don't watch the sport like we do. Like they're not gambling, they're not doing fantasy. Like they know most of the players by number. Like when I do these college football, every week that I do a game, I get a chance to talk to the coaches. And every time they just go, number 12, he's going to be tough in coverage. Number 32, number 45. They never mention the guys' names because they actually don't know them.
Did you think he was talking about Carnell Tate? Carnell?
That's what I figured. But it is amazing when you actually talk to football coaches, unless they're in the NFL. The NFL coaches, they know the whole league because they're involved in personnel decisions a lot of ways. Like they're scouting. The guy at Ohio, the head coach of Ohio University did not recruit anybody that's on Ohio State. Like they just know him as numbers, and they're playing at the same time a lot of weeks.
Heard a very strong take from somebody. I'm not going to say who, but in this station, not in this studio at this time, but does have a mic in front of them for a long period of time. They said Bo Jackson should be the starting running back for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Villa St. Joseph's Bo Jackson should be the starting running back, not C.J. Donaldson.
I've been hearing about him for 3 years, but I didn't get a chance to see him in person in high school because he was banged up, and then they kind of shut down his final year. So there was a game I was going to go see him, and then he got injured the week before, and then that was it. Didn't get a chance to see him again. The running back seem on paper right now for Ohio State, who just had 2 second-round draft picks, they seem kind of pedestrian. Like, let's be honest.
Actually,
that's one thing that if we were going to talk about a potential weakness for Ohio State, and the one thing, if we're talking nationally, of course, for most schools, Ohio State's running backs are fine. But to compete at the highest level, it's like, all right, what's the weakness for Ohio State? I've heard people say it's their running backs. And Bo Jackson has had some really nice runs early on.
Did you see Bo Jackson in high school?
Yeah.
See, it's so much fun. Like Max Riley, right? Your guy. Yep. Like, you can see it, but like watching offensive linemen, it's like, okay, he moves that way. You can see why they like him. You see wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, where it's just so apparent they are so much better than anybody else on the field. And I saw him against Kenston, and he turned, and I go, oh, there you go. That's why. It was just this acceleration that you rarely get to see on a Friday night. That's something special. And you have to notice the nuance when you watch like Max Riley or Arthur Scott or someone there but man, it's all 8,000 people in the stands, when he turned, they knew, oh, that's the Ohio State kid. There you go. It's something special to see. I think halfway through the year, he very well could be. I mean, I thought it was rather pedestrian, too. I agree with you. It's only been 2 games. But I totally agree with you, Tone.
That's it for about last night.
Sensational as always. Folks, coming up at around 8:45. We talked about motivation before. I think that if we're talking about motivation, what we're about to play for you at 8:45 should be bulletin board material for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Coming up next, the Great Triumvirate. We have James Rapine joining us. We have Ken Wyman, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. We have Andrew Filipponi, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. Ken can defend the Ravens for what they're doing on Sunday. Are the Bengals feeling better after they beat the Browns about their playoff chances? Same question I have to say for Andrew Filipponi and the Pittsburgh Steelers with the play of Aaron Rodgers on Sunday against the New York Jets. We go around the AFC North, Week 2 style, coming up in 5 on The Fan.
Well, real estate
Quinshaw and Judkins on the practice field today. Meanwhile, we'll hear from head coach Kevin Stefanski beforehand, 10:55 this morning live, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Find out what happened in Berea while you're working. The Afternoon Drive, weekdays at 2, 92.3 The Fan.
All guests appear on the Fan Hotline, and it is time to go around the AFC North to Baltimore, to Cincinnati, and to Pittsburgh. And our first stop, Baltimore. Ken Wyman, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, where the Ravens get set to host our Cleveland Browns on Sunday, where there is controversy afoot. Ken, I brought this up with Bob Haney several weeks ago. I have to bring it up with you. I am not a fan of the 30th anniversary celebration against the Cleveland Browns.
So I'm not going to tell you how to feel. I will tell you, I didn't even realize it until I saw some stuff get posted yesterday, and then I thought nothing of it. And so I was 12 years old when the Colts left. I went to the last Baltimore Colt game with my dad. It stung for a while, but once we got a team again, 30 years later, when the Colts come to town, it doesn't bother me. Again, I'm not telling you how you should feel. But I didn't see the big deal in it. But I did see last night that people are upset about this. But again, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, Ken,
and
you guys
I'm
won.
not telling you how
you
to
guys won Super Bowls.
Yeah, you guys won Super Bowls.
You guys are winners. We've been losers.
Yeah.
I
You
hear
guys won Super Bowls.
You guys got to keep your name and your colors and so again, I'm not telling you how to feel, but the 30 years after the Colts left, it didn't bother me anymore.
I'll tell you, I'm not mad at the fans over there. Now, we've had a couple of callers who disagree, but what happens on the internet's on the internet. I ain't mad at Ravens fans. I just don't like that the organization would do this. I'm upset with the organization.
Yeah, I hear you. And again, I can't tell you you're wrong. I think they were planning to do this for the first home game, and this is the first home game. So, but again, I'm not one to legislate feelings.
John Harbaugh, is he under fire for giving up a 2-touchdown lead on Sunday night?
He should be. Like you guys have seen all the numbers after the game Sunday night with the 17 double-digit leads blown, the 25-6 since 2022, where they've had a lead of 9-16 in the fourth quarter and lost. And the biggest problem, guys, and I don't know how much you guys pay attention to it because you guys have your own team to focus on, but they spent the whole offseason, all training camp, talking about how they've been working to fix all this. And then they go out there Sunday night, and it doesn't look like they fixed a damn thing. And so that's the biggest problem here. Oh, and there's the whole, you punted the ball on 4th and 3 when the third down play only makes sense if you go for it on 4th down. And you can tell me Lamar Jackson was cramping. Well, you know what? If you punt the ball, the game's over. So call a timeout, give him some Gatorade and a banana, and let's get him ready to go on 4th down, because if you punt the ball, the game is over. And guess what? You punted the ball and the game's over.
Did you have positive takeaways with just how dominant that running game was and just how unbelievable that offense was for basically 3 quarters?
Yeah, and that's the other thing, guys. I thought they took their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter offensively a little bit. But, yeah, the offense, Derrick Henry looks ageless. Lamar Jackson looks incredible. Zay Flowers had the best game of his career. DeAndre Hopkins, when they signed DeAndre Hopkins, my thought was just be better than Nelson Aguilar was as the third receiver a year ago. And I think he can clear that bar because Nelson Aguilar stunk a year ago. So the offense, the offensive line could be better. Mark Andrews didn't do anything. Rashad Bateman didn't do anything, but they scored 40 points. So, that's a nitpick. The offense is great. The defense, which they got a lot of guys making money and a lot of names, it stunk. Jair Alexander should not have been out there on Sunday night. Guy hadn't practiced in a month. I don't know if he talked his way on or they felt like he was ready, but I saw a lot of the back of his jersey in the fourth quarter.
Could there be anything linked to it where, hey, it's week 1 and it is Josh Allen, or no?
I think there's some of that, sure. And I think the other part of it, and you guys know this, when you're a team that doesn't play anybody in the preseason, practice is just that. I think there is some rust there, but you can't. I don't care if it's week 1, if it's week 3. You can't blow a 15-point lead with 4 minutes left in the game. Get a damn stop.
Do you believe that Cleveland is better than you thought after you saw the Bengals game?
I think their defense is really good. You guys, and I'm sure you've talked about a lot. What is it about you guys and kickers? So Dustin Hopkins wasn't better than that?
No, he wasn't.
It's like,
I don't know. Lima argued with me on Monday. Lima, you argue with him now. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's the first time we've seen him, and he was abysmal. And that was the guy that beat out the other guy in a weird, behind-the-scenes, no cameras allowed kicking competition that clearly did not simulate what an actual game might be like and actual pressure. And right now, as of today, it's going to be the same kicker for your game on the road.
Yeah, if that kid could make an extra point and a chip shot field goal, 36 yards in 2025 is a chip shot field goal. You guys probably win the game.
Should the Browns pick up Justin Tucker?
Well, he got suspended for 10 games.
Okay, but
I don't know how that's going to help you Sunday.
I was talking about that with somebody. He didn't have a team to be able to appeal the penalty. It's weird to see a free agent get that kind of suspension and nobody can appeal it.
You want to pick him up and appeal it?
I was saying that he's an idiot. Is he better than anything we got?
Don't say stupid things.
Is he better than anything we got?
I think the play, he had to accept the suspension. So the 10 games is the 10 games.
We do lie detectors here, Ken, in Cleveland. We
offered
found out
a lie detector.
Yeah,
we didn't make him do it. That's against the law.
Maybe it's Tucker's turn.
Well, he's got a brother in arms there. Is rehabbing as a quarterback, so that should be good.
Wyman, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. Why would you bring up him?
Whoa.
You are sincerely stupid.
Will he be a part of their tribute video?
Okay, you know what? I didn't think you were that stupid. I thought you were stupid. I don't think you're that stupid now. James Rapine, Locked On Bengals down in Cincinnati.
They have a stupid coach.
Did your defense perform better than you thought?
A terrible game plan, Rapine.
Why is Zach Taylor still employed other than your owner's cheap?
You act like you hadn't seen the Browns defense
That's terrible.
before.
You have a head coach that's holding back your quarterback. I'm just going to berate you now because that's what really needs to be done here, James. You have a head coach that's holding back your quarterback. The same thing happened to him with Ed Orgeron down at LSU. The guy's not a miracle worker, Joe Burrow is. Do you or do you not realize you have a sincere problem?
Is Zach Taylor a sincere problem?
Zach Taylor's terrible. Far. Zach Taylor's terrible, and you know it.
Who is the better team on Sunday? It was the Browns.
The Browns outplayed the Bengals. I agree with that.
I mean, for how many more years is it? Well, are the Bengals finally going to be ready to play this time? We're going to put all our guys at peril in the preseason because we're so desperate to get off to a good start. You guys were terrible on Sunday.
And they won. All right, so let's relax a little. They still did win.
Well, your team's expected to win. Our team's supposed to be not that good.
That's one of the worst wins I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's one of the worst losses ever.
I agreed.
Worst wins
you
ever.
guys should have been up 20-17 in the fourth quarter. Pressure on Zach and Joe to go downfield, but that didn't happen. And so, I think. Look, am I worried about the offense? I'm not going to be that worried about an offense that was awesome last year. I do think it's weird that week in and week out against the Browns, it seems like that they can't solve it when they know what's coming. They know that the Browns are going to be good in coverage. They know that Myles Garrett exists and is the best pass rusher on the planet. So, I thought they had a good game plan in the first half. The Browns counterpunched, and then the offense didn't have another counter. And that's worrisome when you play the Browns, but they don't play the Browns again until Week 18.
Let's talk about how slow and bad your defense was at every level. What'd you think about that?
I thought they were really, really bad in the second half when they shut down the Browns offense. And there were a couple drops in there, but no, I thought they played pretty well overall. Expectations are low for this defense, and so for them to kind of shut the door on anything, a Browns win there, I think that was pretty big.
Is Cleveland better than you thought?
I thought that they were going to be okay. It's not like that Myles Garrett doesn't exist and Denzel Ward and those guys. And so what I think was interesting is mid-game, I'm looking at the offense, and I'm like, okay, like Dylan Sampson's a real guy in the passing game. Harold Fannon's going to matter in the passing game. Obviously, you have Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. I think once you get Quinshon Judkins back, whenever that is, like that's a lot of guys to worry about. So I do think the offense might be better than I thought they'd be.
James Rapine, Locked On Bengals down in Cincinnati as the Bengals get set to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Coming up on Sunday, Andrew Filipponi, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. They got themselves a win over the New York Jets. Andrew, are you feeling better about the Steelers now that they have Aaron Rodgers? You were pretty down on the Steelers.
Well, I'm feeling better about Aaron Rodgers, Ken. I don't feel better about much else. I mean, a lot of things went inexplicably wrong against a very, very mediocre Jets team. You give up 32 points. I don't think you forced a punt in the first half of the game. The Jets scored on every possession. Justin Fields, who you discarded, looked like he was an elite quarterback. And you couldn't run the ball, 2.7 yards per carry. And your first-round pick left tackle gave up 3 sacks and 4 pressures.
Oof. I did want to ask if people were more excited about what Aaron Rodgers did, but because of his age, were they more regretful that Justin Fields is not there?
No, it was more about Aaron Rodgers, although I think the first call to our show on Monday was about Justin Fields and maybe making a mistake there. Here's the issue with that. Mike Tomlin did not trust Justin Fields enough to let him play the style of play we saw from the Jets on Sunday. When Justin Fields started week 1 here last year, Mike Tomlin put the man in a straitjacket. They just were handing the ball off and playing conservative offense. They won a game against Atlanta in which they didn't score an offensive touchdown in that game. They scored 18 points. Mike Tomlin, to his credit, got out of the way and let Aaron Rodgers do his thing, although if you ask the people at Pro Football Focus, Bryce Young and Cam Ward were better than Aaron Rodgers on Sunday.
What do you think of Jabril Peppers? Andrew Filipponi, as the Steelers get set for their game on Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks. Almost called them the Mariners for whatever reason. Andrew Filipponi, who absolutely just woke up, joining us here on the hotline.
It's a cold.
It's a cold? Oh, gosh, your voice sounds like a pack of parliaments.
It's a cold. Sorry.
You sicky.
Yeah. You have any advice? Any cold remedies?
Yeah, like two big cups of NyQuil and then go to Betty Buys.
Yeah, I did that. It's now the morning, Ken. Now what?
Take more NyQuil and go back to Betty Buys.
So drink 2 beat boxes.
Drink 2 beat boxes.
11%.
11%, brother. The good stuff.
What are you, Chris Berman?
Just a little touch. Little touch to get you over. You get the Canadian style. They go from the States, eh? Anyway, Jabril Peppers, thoughts?
I was shocked that the Bills didn't pick him up after watching Derrick Henry do what he did to them Sunday night. The guy plays the run well. You know that. He also is used to change. He's played for 6 different defensive coordinators in his career. This team is soft against the run. They've given up 484 rushing yards in their last 2 games combined to the Ravens and Jets. So with Deshaun Elliott out, the safety also has had a lot of stamps on his passport. I expect Jabril Peppers to get caught up to speed, and I think he'll start when the Steelers go play the Patriots in Week 3.
Pony, Awful Announcing said the numbers are very bleak for Wake Up Barstool in the first week. Only 16,000 people tuned in for the Dave Portnoy experience. How do you compare that to, the Provisional Ball show that used to
Mulligan Soup?
Mulligan Soup?
Breakfast Ball, I believe, is what they called it.
Soup
what are your thoughts on that? Is the Portnoy thing, is it a failing proposition?
I'm not going to say anything about that because when you do, the Stoolies are unleashed on you.
Why are you afraid of the Stoolies?
Why are you afraid of the Stoolies?
We've gone toe-to-toe, and at times we've linked up with the Stoolies.
Where are you guys right now, Detente?
What?
I feel like we're in a good spot.
Well, Stu Finer's one of the Stoolies, and we love Stu Finer. We're pro Stu Finer.
So you're in good graces right now, and you're trying to get me turned against them.
Yeah, okay. That's how it works.
There's 16,000. I mean, your show does better than 16,000.
Do you guys DVR Wake Up Barstool, then watch it when your show's over?
I haven't been able to check it out.
I didn't know it had started.
I saw Portnoy on Big Noon Kickoff, and he already got death threats for a former student athlete because of some wild allegations.
Has Ken tried to book T-Bob Abear on your show yet?
I find that guy entertaining.
I do too.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
Yeah, it's fish in a barrel. How would I not find him entertaining?
Ken heard his rant on Alabama and said, damn it, I wish I had seen it.
I did not hear any rant on Alabama.
We're going to look at it during the break.
No, I will look at it during the break. You got me walking around the car now. Taking on Seattle on Sunday. How do the Steelers... Oh, do you think Cleveland is better than what you had previously thought after the Bengals game?
I think they're worse. I thought they were going to win that game. They gave that game away.
You think they're worse?
I do. Well, let's go through the sequences at the end of the game, Ken. You get Jerry Jeudy to drop a ball. Should have been an easy first down. A guy misses a 36-yard field goal. And Cedric Tillman lateraled an interception to a Bengal. How's that good?
It wasn't good.
Right. So they're worse. I thought they were going to win. So did you. Yes, you did.
I don't think I did.
You didn't make a prediction on the game? Wow, okay.
Oh, I did make a prediction on the game. That's right. Okay, fine.
Yep.
Okay, fair. All right, Andrew Filipponi, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh, part of the wonderful trifecta that is around the AFC North. Ken Wyman, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. James Rapine, Locked On Bengals, and Andrew Filipponi, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh as the Browns get set to take on the Baltimore Ravens. Coming up here on Sunday afternoon. Coming up next, Newsweek agrees with Tone, and the reputation could be on the line, or is the reputation already decided? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app, where at 8:45 you're going to hear some bulletin board material for your Cleveland Cavaliers.
I've been talking about ways to get better. Unfortunately,
and you can use that, but you do have to fight the here we go again. And I mean, it's probably a bigger issue for fans with here we go again than inside that locker room, but I'm not saying that's not something that they have to address.
Listen for Scott Petrak from the Chronicle Telegram Monday mornings at 11 on Cleveland's Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Hey, before I set sail on the Browns thing, I tell you one of the dumbest things I ever did the other day. I'm on my way up to 8. I'm going to go do the 5 and 6, right? And I'm on 480 West. And it wasn't like Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura where he's like, woo, why don't you learn how to drive, pal? It wasn't like that, but I'm on 480 West. And I'm in my truck, and I look behind me, and there is a truck and a guy who happens to look to me like Joe Toohey. Now, Joe, who works at 8, is my buddy. He's one of the anchors there. And I thought because I usually recognize what people drive. And usually, like, that's in my head. Like, that's, like, I know you're at work, but I see your car in the parking lot. Like, that type of thing. And I thought he was right behind me. And so I, like, slow down. And then he, like, goes to get in the right lane, and I go to get in the right lane. And I'm looking, and then he goes to get back in the left lane, get in the passing lane. This is on 480 West. And when he gets into the passing lane, I'm right next to him. Now, I have curtailed this for a while, but there's something I like to do to my friends.
Like to play some fun games on the roadways.
No. I wasn't swerving or anything. But I had slowed down to the speed limit, and then he went around, and I wasn't playing a game of chicken with him or anything. But there is a gesture that I like to do to my friends, that because you're kind of always on camera at 8. Now we're always on camera at the Fan. I have to make sure I don't do, but you do it with your hand. And I'm standing there, and I'm driving, and I'm looking at him, and I'm making faces, and I'm giving the gesture, and the guy looks over. And all of a sudden it hits me, that is not Joe. And for a second, my life flashed before. Like, he looked like he wanted to get in the glove box and find something for me. And I was terrified. And the only thing I wanted to do, I was mortified. The only thing I wanted to do, which would have made the situation terribly worse, it came to my mind to follow the man, get off at the same exit, and then explain myself
in a nice manner,
about why that had happened. I go, no, sir, I would never bother you on purpose. I just thought you were my buddy Joe.
I wanted to bring it to your attention.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. And I go, you are stupid. How on earth did you think that was Joe? It looked exactly like Joe.
That's a Ken Carman classic.
It looked exactly like Joe.
It sounds like a great start to a story that would be a horrific ending to a story.
Oh, my God. Because all we hear about it, tragically, terrible stories about people, road rage stories. And I go, this guy just thinks some fat guy in a truck is messing with him.
The plot of Joyride 3.
Yeah. It was, I'm driving up 77 North. I go, this is one of the dumbest things you ever did. Why would you ever do that?
A hilarious confusion of identities.
Yeah. I told Joe, he laughed his ass off. He also thought it was stupid. Because I did remind, one time my mom would tell this story back in the day. She worked at a bowling alley years and years and years ago. We're talking late 70s, early 80s. And she got cut off in traffic, and she gave somebody the bird as she got cut off in traffic, and she realized it was her boss at the bowling alley, and she had to work later that night. It was one of the league nights, and when she came in, this is a place called Nancio's Bowl in Canton. And when she came in, everybody was giving her double birds in the bowling alley, which I thought was a great touch. Like, the whole bowling alley is giving my mom the finger. And I'm going, man, of all the misidentities, and I'm going, what a dumb thing to do. So
it's a good teaching moment.
Don't make the same mistake I did. Because I have become a more and more cautious, defensive driver over time. And I thought for sure it was Joe. And it wasn't Joe. So, sirs, if you're on your way driving out there and you're on 480 West later this afternoon and you happen to own a tan truck, I'm not going to say the make, but you would certainly know that a fat guy was giving gestures. I thought you were somebody else. I'm sorry. Won't happen again, buddy. Hope you have a good rest of your week.
Hey, you look like a TV guy. So.
Yeah, and you look like you, but you have TV guy good looks. Joe's a good looking man, so are you. So you got that going for you, sir. I asked the question about the Browns to each one of these guys here in the around the AFC North segment, and here's the. Do we have? Is it the question and the answers, or just the answers?
Couldn't tell you. Didn't make it, but I'm assuming.
Away we go. Do you believe that Cleveland is better than you thought after you saw the Bengals game?
I think their defense is really good.
Dylan Sampson's a real guy in the passing game. Harold Fannon's going to matter in the passing game. Obviously, you have Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. I think once you get Quinshon Judkins back, whenever that is, that's a lot of guys to worry about.
I think they're worse. I thought they were going to win that game. You get Jerry Jeudy to drop a ball. Should have been an easy first down. A guy misses a 36-yard field goal. And Cedric Tillman lateraled an interception to a Bengal. How's that good? So they're worse. I thought they were going to win.
They better or worse than what you thought they were going to be?
A little better, yeah. Actually, I'd say a lot better.
Are they better or worse than what you thought they were going to be, Owen?
I'd say they're better.
Mitch, are you there?
I'm here.
Are they better or worse than what you thought they were going to be?
I would say better.
If they're better than what we thought they were going to be, then let me reiterate, why am I not supposed to think that there's a chance that they can win on Sunday? I know that the line would say otherwise. Now, I'm not going to pick them to win. I'm not going to pick them to win.
Well, I could tell you why.
It's Wednesday. We'll see what I feel like on Friday morning. But I'm not going to pick them to win. Why can't I at all go, this is an NFL football game. Cincinnati is not a youth football team. These are big boys. Cincinnati's expected to make some noise this year. Are they not? Are they not? Does Joe Burrow? I want to know. Does Joe Burrow just exist?
Do you believe that the defensive dam of the Cleveland Browns will not burst at some point? Because that's what it was. It was the defense keeping you around.
That's a great question, and I think you're right about that. I think that the way you approach the Ravens on Sunday is a lot of the ways that you approach the Bengals this last Sunday.
You better control the ball and play defense.
We're gonna look at this, and we're gonna make a big deal about how low the scoring points, low the point margins are for the Cleveland Browns, the amount of points that they score. You have to play protectionism here. Because, Lima, you made one of the best points you've ever made on the radio here. You got young guys in critical positions for you, and you have to have a veteran out there leading them. I mean, that's part of the reason why. I thought veterans protect veterans, and that's why I was pro Joe from the moment that they signed him, going, hey, he's got to start the season. You have to start the season with Joe, and then we'll get to everybody else. I didn't even think about the kids. You're right. Harold Fannin needs an experienced quarterback, a guy who knows what he's doing, throwing to him to get him off in the right direction. To reset some of your other guys. Dylan Sampson, it ain't going to be any easier if you got a rookie out there playing with Dylan Sampson, trying to lead the offense, probably going to make it far, far worse. So you are 100% right about that. But I think in this offense, you are going to have to be protectionist because I do think it's going to be another clock thing where, Lamar can stretch plays out. Lamar can frustrate defenses. We know the shot at Jadeveon Clowney after they thought they brought him to justice and he ended up scoring a touchdown on a pass. You have a frustrating quarterback back there that can turn a day where the wheels are starting to get shaky and just blow them right off the axle. And I think that for them, their best bet is a lot of what they did on Sunday. I hate to go ultra conservative, and I know you guys hate that. I know you hate it, but man, I tend to pack it in and get conservative and even sit on it a little bit, especially against what I think is going to be a good defense. The Ravens are a better defense than what they have. I know they gave up 41 points. This is Josh Allen. The Ravens are going to have a better defense than what Cincinnati has.
I think
I would assume so.
Kenny, I think maybe the issue, yes, I thought Cincinnati was going to be better than the Browns this year. And then I thought, watching those two teams, I'm like, man, I think the Browns are better. Now, I don't know if Flacco's going to make it 17 games, but I'm like, man, the Browns seem like they're better. We put through James Rapine through the ringer on our Around the AFC North.
We did.
I think, though, to be fair, I then watched Baltimore and the Bills, and it did look a little bit like a different sport. And that's not to discount how amazing our defense was. Our defense was amazing. They probably would have been really good against almost anybody.
You can't say it's a different sport and then say not to discount something.
But Kenny, it looked like a different sport. And
what do you mean by it's a different sport?
The amount of actual playmaking, which we did not see, by either offense in the Bengals game. We didn't see any playmaking whatsoever. Those were two teams
do you think that
had playmakers at the highest level.
Okay, Jamar Chase can make plays, can he not? T. Higgins can make plays, can he not? So why can't the Browns limit playmaking abilities from the Baltimore Ravens?
I think they can limit, but you're going to have to give up something. You're going to either give up Lamar Jackson runs or you're going to give up, Derrick Henry runs. I don't see them being able to neutralize all of it. They just put you in conflict so much. They move the pocket. Cincinnati doesn't do that. So now, your rookie linebacker is going to have so many more keys. He's got to have so many more things that he is, looking out for.
So what do you think is the best plan of attack? Let it fly?
No, it's hard. When we had JOK actually, people joked when we brought him in and we labeled him as the Lamar stopper. People are like, there's going to be no Lamar stopping. And we had our work cut out for us, but I'll tell you, JOK actually ended up really causing some problems. So I am curious. I'm actually excited to see what Schlesinger can do in a game like this, because he's obviously not built the same way as JOK. They're different types of players, but his instincts were amazing. His instincts are going to have to be on another level, because you saw the Bills had no idea play to play whether or not Lamar Jackson was going to keep the football or not. They put Buffalo in so much peril every time, and it's why Buffalo was giving up 10 yards a carry. And obviously, they got the ball loose. Derrick Henry fumbled the ball, or else they lose that game. So it's not like I don't think the Browns have any shot whatsoever. It's the NFL. Of course they have a shot. We've beaten Baltimore. We beat Baltimore on the road, come from behind victory with Deshaun Watson, who is the worst quarterback in the NFL the last few years. So we can do it. We have done it. This is just such a different challenge this Sunday.
Just over 1 week away, where Newsweek agrees with Tone, also from one of the dumbest things I've ever done to maybe one of the dumbest AP votes I've ever seen. And we were talking about motivation for the Browns players earlier. This, though, should be bulletin board material for your Cleveland Cavaliers all year long. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work, and then watch us at work on the free Odyssey app and on YouTube Live for free.
It's Anthony Lima for my friend.
This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
When there's news that affects the Cleveland sports fan, Darrow Ryder is on top of every headline. Listen to his reports on the station with the most local sports talk in town. 92.3 The Fan, powered by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Sports Talk 92.3 The Fan. It's presented by Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. It's like $250 a month. Plus ParamountPlus.com. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Want some bulletin board material?
Ooh.
We were talking about motivation for Browns players earlier. We're going to get back to that. I think we have plenty of motivation for Browns fans, and more of that coming up at 9 o'clock. Here's some bulletin board material for your, in the words of Ahmad, Cleveland Cavaliers.
I don't think there will be one person in the world that picks them to go to the finals. So is that fair for me to say they're a contender? I think there's a lot of these other teams that somebody might pick to make the finals. Do you think there will be one human being outside of the city of Cleveland that picks Cleveland to go to the finals?
Yes.
Zero, right? No.
Yes, on. I think
No.
yes.
No, you don't.
If you look at the Eastern Conference,
come on.
What are you talking about?
Audio courtesy of The Ringer.
Okay, I have heard people say they will come out. They're the favorites in the Eastern Conference. I do think there is a healthy amount of skepticism anytime they come up, and I think that will continue to be the case until they actually do get there.
I think that, they're talking about two different things. I mean, how many people are on local or national panels before basketball season? So out of 100 different media personalities, there's probably going to be a person on each panel who goes, why can't you guys talk about the Cavaliers? Why aren't you guys saying the Cavaliers? I'm sorry, Donovan Mitchell's not an MVP finalist over the last 3 years. Evan Mobley's not one of the best young budding superstars and defending Defensive Player of the Year in this league. Kenny Atkinson and 64 wins last year. Like, they'll say those things. I just ripped that right off the top of my head because we're in Cleveland. Who is the person who said who's going to be picking? I don't know voices from voices. Whoever was saying it at the beginning of it, they're right. The prevailing thought is not going to be the Cavaliers. The prevailing thought in the East, and I don't necessarily agree with it.
Chris Vernon.
Okay, that was Chris Vernon, the first voice.
Yes.
The prevailing thought in the East.
He's the one that does the Masters updates every year, and they do the big song and dance with the costumes. It goes viral for a couple of days.
Right now, by the way, did you see Tyrese Halliburton on Saturday morning?
No.
Looking good. Looking good. You say whatever you want. Looking good.
I'm amazed. Every athlete, like
they're athletes.
Like Darius Garland. That's a good point. Darius Garland. They're like, oh, he's going to miss at least the first month of the season. I'm watching him run around like a month ago, and he looks fine. Like he's ready to go right now.
I said the same. Like, you see these guys, and they are the basketball players. To me, are probably the best athletes in the world. And I saw Tyrese because they were big noon kickoff, and it was in Ames, and you see him like. He looks ready to go. He looks ready to go opening night. He ain't, and neither would Darius Garland, but they look fine. So I think we're counting Indiana out because of Tyrese Halliburton. Are we counting the Bucks out, or are we leaving them in because of Giannis?
I'm obviously putting the Cavs ahead of them, and for the regular season, it's a conversation
we're going to have a lot. But
I think the Cavs are going to win the most games of any of the team in the Eastern Conference, and I am looking forward to seeing what kind of a challenge Detroit, what kind of a challenge Orlando presents, because we know those will not be easy series. I would pick the Cavs in both of those.
Yes.
The Knicks, I probably would pick the Knicks to beat us. But
I think a lot of teams are going to want to take the Knicks,
and part of that is just
to win the finals.
I've seen
or
Jalen
to go to the finals.
Part of it, I've seen Jalen Brunson beat Donovan Mitchell twice, so like I don't think the Knicks are going to be scared of the Cavs, but I think they'd be awesome matchups. I think they could go either way.
When the Cavs won 17 in a row last year, there were starting to be a lot of people who wanted to line up and go, why can't the Cavs beat the Boston Celtics? I think you'll find an overcorrection. I think the Cavs are going to win a boatload of regular season games. And I think you're going to be frustrated, and I think the fans are going to be frustrated. Now, you'll be frustrated by two different things. Well, you're going to be frustrated because the fans are not going to care as much as they did over the last 2 years about regular season games. I think the Cavs are the Baltimore Ravens of the NBA, where it's like you're expected to win in the regular season. The regular season is a formality. Now we care about the postseason. What are you doing against the Bills in the postseason? What are you doing against the Chiefs, et cetera, et cetera? What are you doing against the Knicks? What are you doing against the Bucks? What are you doing against Oklahoma City if you do make the finals? I think the Cavs, in so many ways, are the Ravens of the NBA. And I think you're going to be frustrated because they'll probably win a big, like opening night is against the Knicks. If they win against the Knicks opening night, we could be sitting there a couple days later go, yeah, where's the excitement? There ain't going to be a lot of excitement. I think it's going to be expected. I think you and I will make a big deal. I think you'll want to go to the phones and it's just going to be gray the whole way through.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're going to be waiting for you to talk Browns.
I could see that. They're going to be people in two different categories. There's going to be the category of, I'll believe it when I see it. And then there's going to be the category of, oh my God, Evan Mobley looks better. Because every day he's going to flash stuff that you haven't seen before.
I hope. But if you win a bunch of games again, like I don't know if you can win 17 in a row again for crying out loud. That's a tall order. But if you win a bunch of games in a row, I could see you winning 8, 9, 10 in a row at some point during the season this next year. That is a lot, but still, I could see you winning a lot of games in a row, a nice winning streak. And I think there will be some fans who are basketball first, younger basketball first fans, which I got another story to tell you about that off the air, by the way. We might bring it on the air, but today's not the day. You might see younger basketball first fans who are going, why aren't we getting respect? Why aren't we getting respect? Why are we not getting the respect we deserve? Because to the national pundit, you're getting the respect you deserve. You're getting respect you deserve as second or third most serious team in the East.
Listen,
that's their respect
brought
for
up
us.
the Ravens. We had somebody call in today over the whole Baltimore celebration anniversary thing. And what did they say? Lamar Jackson's never going to win anything. Well, that's what people are going to say about Donovan Mitchell. Until it happens. They're just going to say that. And he's not getting the level of hatred that some of the NBA stars do get for not winning. Guys like James Harden, Joel Embiid, they get it all the time about, you haven't won anything. Donovan, people seem to really like him around the league. But, he hasn't won, and he's not really going to get that type of credit or move into that stratosphere, even though he was all NBA first team this year. He's not going to get that until they're able to advance. I do wonder, are people going to be scoreboard watching this year? Not for games in the standings. I'm talking, are you going to be sizing up the Knicks and Milwaukee and Orlando and Detroit?
I think the only way,
and Atlanta.
The only way we change this conversation about the Cavs being taken seriously is if Evan Mobley takes that next step. If Evan Mobley looks dominant, and then we're talking about after the first month and a half of the season, maybe 2 months of the season, you get around, I would say around Christmas, New Year's, you're talking about Evan Mobley being in the early season MVP race. If you actually are having that conversation, then I think that everything's different, and we are talking about NBA Finals. And we are talking about beating the Knicks and beating whoever else in the East, and then possibly Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a hell of a player, possibly beating the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that's that kind. But if he is still Evan, where it's like, hey, you're nice, but Donovan's still number one. If Donovan's still number one, you're still number 3 as the biggest threat out of the East, or for the NBA Finals, you are still lower on that totem pole if Donovan's still your guy to the national media. You have to change that.
Which game are you more excited about? Martin Luther King Day, 2:30. It's an NBC/Peacock. Oklahoma City, your reigning champions, the Thunder, coming to Cleveland. That's January 19th, or a little over a week later, 9 days later, January 28th, the Lakers coming to town.
MLK Day, middle of the afternoon. I love MLK Day matinees.
Yeah,
100%.
That Lakers game is on a Wednesday. Could be LeBron's second final game in Cleveland, unless we're talking finals.
He plays 41 at home the next year.
We get through a Cavs segment without ever mentioning LeBron.
41. We're going to get LeBron 41 dates.
I feel like one of the people last month going, can we just get through one Brown segment without mentioning the 5th round pick? Can we get through one?
Well, the tickets go on sale today. Today, I think at 2:00. I think tickets on sale for non-season ticket holders.
Did you see the 5th round pick is still in the top 5 of rookie jersey sales?
I have it on my phone.
Did you see that the 5th round pick's jersey was hanging right next to Myles Garrett in the team shop?
I did. What does it all mean, Kenny? What does it all mean?
He's an insanely popular person, guys. We can't just not talk about that guy. He might get mentioned around 9:45.
And he was the emergency head coach in week 1.
The emergency quarterback.
No, we said head coach because he consoled the kicker. He showed some real leadership.
I want to know, did Kyle Shanahan, when they cut Jake Moody yesterday. Did Kyle Shanahan go up to Jake and wrap his arms around him lovingly, caressing the back of his head, and then with the other hand pull the key card out of his pocket and kick him out of the facility? Is that how that went?
Oh, bye-bye.
I'm sure he emboldened him to find a new job.
He emboldened him. Does Kyle Shanahan strike you as a Dick Vermeil emotional guy? Yeah. So you can cram that argument with walnuts. Coming up here next, I can't let myself become this person. So I have to fight this, and I have to continue to put on as much clown makeup as you think I'm putting on. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, that's at 9:01 on The Fan.
Anthony Lima for
Rookie running back Quinshon Judkins is out there on the practice field with his teammates. We'll find out when we hear from head coach Kevin Stefanski later on this morning, 10:55, live here on 92.3 The Fan. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Whenever you need to talk about the Browns, we got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Coming up at 9:20, your vote matters, and I am not talking about Cleveland Heights. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy.
I like that's a good one, Kenny.
Yeah, but
that's a good one.
Do you even care anymore? Not about that situation, about this.
Well, I was all in.
Ravens are
some of the ring camera footage I had seen.
9:23, please. Not 9:01. Thank you. So I made a big damn deal about it earlier today. And you know what? You are not, you usually take the devil's advocate. You're very big on big picture, young people. Do they even care about this, Kenny? Do they care about that? You don't want me to be too stuck in the past. And honestly, I think that's a great thing because, you get stuck in the past, times change, and you can end up getting yourself in a lot of trouble. But I saw what the Ravens did, and we played Ken Wyman, and Ken, Ken's a guest, and he does us a favor when he comes on. You go on for 5 minutes. It's 8:00 in the morning. He's an afternoon show host. You don't need the aggravation. And I've done the same thing for Ken in the afternoon. We like to be friendly with each other. But when you start out a conversation of, well, I don't want to tell you how to feel, you sit there and go, well, you're damn right you ain't going to tell me how to feel.
You should have seen the look on our faces when he said that.
I almost got out the don't tread on me flag. Like, it got real. It got real, like, you stayed down the end of the driveway, sir. Like one of them deals. The Ravens are having their 30th anniversary celebration on the week they play the Browns. And Lima had said, like, oh, well, maybe you have to, they're saying they planned this before they even knew the schedule. And I say, Bolsheviks. I can blame everybody I want to. You want to sit there and blame the NFL? Go ahead and blame the NFL. Go blame Paul Tagliabue for letting it happen, if you want to do that. You want to blame Mike White? Blame Mike White. Mike White ain't blameless in any of all this stuff. But they're having their 30th anniversary celebration the week they play against the Cleveland Browns coming up this Sunday. And they're rolling out all their dignitaries. The mayor at that time, I think one of the governors at that time, or lieutenant governors. The governor might be dead at that time, I'm not sure. Art Modell's family member, who's John Modell's son, or what is he? Nephew, brother, I don't know. I have no idea. I obviously haven't kept up with the family since 1995.
David Modell was the son.
David was the son. David has passed away.
John Modell is Art Modell's son as well.
Okay, so it's the other son.
He has a sibling who was David Modell.
He's a representative of his father, the late Art Modell. And I ranted and raved. Against this is because Baskin got pretty passionate about it yesterday. And I totally agree with Andy. And I can't say this enough. Like, Lima, you kind of dug in there and you go, well, Ken, do you feel this way because the Browns haven't been that good for 30 years? Yeah, you're damn right I feel this way because the Browns ain't been that good for 30 years. I feel this way because I had a listener and a viewer who's a good man get in an animated argument with me about how the real Browns are over in Baltimore and how I can't stand that level of thinking. And it's always blamed on, well, the Browns aren't good. So that's why the real Browns are in Baltimore. I go, no, the real Browns aren't good, but they are right here in Cleveland, Ohio. And then I start to think about it. I go, to me, it becomes a bigger thing. I'm not trying to be too on my soapbox here or be too poetic about it. I'm not going to turn into Tennessee Williams over this. But damn it, there's a lot of things that people like to talk about us and about this region. And one of the things that people get together on and can agree on in this region and be together on in this region, what makes this region special is the game of football. Whether it's played at a high school, college, or pro level, and it doesn't matter how successful it is. It is something that is very special that we believe belongs to us. Green Bay can call themselves Title Town. The South can talk about college football all they want, but we believe that, and I know where the first college game was played, but we believe that we are the heart and soul in this region of the sport of football. And when I get another place kind of dumping on you, it seems. And I don't think it's a shot at the Browns' front office, or organization, what the Ravens are doing. When you march out the son of that guy, when you march out all the dignitaries that helped put this thing together to get that team out of Cleveland, to upset fan bases, to upset this fan base, to have grown men out there with hacksaws talking about how they have been completely and utterly betrayed, and they're 100% correct when they said that. I feel like it is a shot directly at Browns fans, and I do not defend the Browns, Cavs, Guardians. I don't sit there and defend them like that because they're organizations. It's about the fans for me. I get excited for fans. I feel bad if I feel bad for anybody. I feel bad for fans. And I think that this is a direct shot. Don't give me this we didn't know, and it just happened to be the Browns. You could tell Johnny Unitas to fly in at another time. I'm sure Ozzie could have found a flight next week.
Do you feel it is our responsibility to make sure that the younger fans understand what's at stake when it comes to this type of thing, when it comes to the history? Because everything I keep seeing online when we have these conversations, young fans are like, you guys, get over it. Get over it. It's a new day. Like, what's the big deal? Because they will never understand what it was like to have a team ripped from them. You know, when we had Ken Weinman on, he remembered Baltimore, the Colts, because he was 12 years old.
It's much easier to get over it when you have Ray Lewis and Jonathan Ogden and Ed Reed.
They won.
And you win Super Bowls.
They won. If the Browns won, guys, you wouldn't, honestly, I'm telling you this, you might think this is controversial. Had Baltimore kept the colors, kept our colors, stolen our colors from us, but we have Super Bowl championships. The Baltimore Browns, whatever, I think if we were the Cleveland Ravens, you wouldn't care as much because you'd have winners. You'd be celebrating a new era of winning. But because we don't have that, it's like, yeah, we got the colors and the records. We fought for it. Awesome. But
that's what makes it more ours.
We also got handicapped from the get-go. We got a crap stadium from the get-go.
But that's why I argue for it. That's why I get mad and argue for it. Because the fans can't help what the ownerships do. Okay? The fans can't help.
Nothing to do with it.
The fans couldn't help that Al Lerner helped Art Modell move this football team. The fans can't help that his son didn't care about running this franchise and tried to be hands-off as much as he could for 10 years after his father's died.
Yeah, living overseas.
The fans can't help that I still believe Johnny was drafted without anybody else having a say in it. The fans can't help that they traded for Deshaun Watson. The fans can't help any of that. You know what they could help? Suing the NFL, taking people to court, fighting for the history of the football team, and remembering the good days as much as they can, and fighting for their history. That's what counts. I can't help what they do on the football field on Sunday.
It just sucks,
but
Kenny,
I'm going to try to fight for what I can control.
That the young fans just don't seem to care about any of that. They're having the records and having the history. They're just like, wake me up when we can win. You know, that game was the least attended Browns game, the opener of all games.
It ain't the kids buying the tickets now, is it, Tone?
It's the least attended opener. It's the least attended Browns game since 2018. So it's apathy as much as I've ever seen for the opener for the Cleveland Browns, and you're playing the Bengals. And it just is amazing to see where we're at. And so I'm glad you're doing this. I'm glad Baskin's doing it. I heard Nick yesterday. Great job.
But I don't want to be yelling at a wall. And I feel more and more walls being built in front of me, and I don't want it to happen. I don't want to advocate for that wall to be built. I will admit 100%, if we were coming off of 14-3, I don't know, I'd probably still hate it a little bit more. If we had 2 Super Bowl champions, I wouldn't think it's as big of a deal.
I don't even know if it would get brought up.
It would get brought up.
Because you'd be like, you know what? We had to lose them to win. That's what you'd probably say. You'd probably, if it had been reversed.
It would get brought up, and I still wouldn't like it. I don't think I'd be red-faced and yelling about it at 6 a.m. we were talking about baseball at 6 a.m. Go back and listen, 923thefan.com and on the free Odyssey app. I wouldn't be all red-faced and shouting myself hoarse the way I am now if we had 2 Super Bowl championships. If we had a quarterback that we really firmly believed was capable of taking us further, I'd be sitting here talking about beating the Ravens more than I am being upset about something that happened 30 years ago when I was a child and when you were a preteen. I'd be much more, and Owen was in Oklahoma, God bless him. Like, I'd be much more focused on the future instead of arguing about the past. And I get that some people are like, man, you keep arguing about the past, man, ain't nothing changed. And I am sick and tired of that. It scares me. It scares me, the apathy that plays into this. I told you I had a buddy whose his son, they gave up season tickets, and they were offered tickets, club seat tickets for Sunday's game against Cincinnati. And his son, no, I've already made a tee time. They're not going to get me. They're not going to trick me again. I go, guys, it's supposed to be a pro football team. This ain't no battle of wills.
The opener.
And that's the fans I'm talking about there. The fans, they want a winner. And I could give lip service all I want. And this, to me, is like the last stand of something I can actually control as a fan. That I can actually have a voice and have a microphone in front of me and say, no, this is wrong. This is a spitting in the face of you because we didn't like Art Modell from the. I mean, really, honestly, it was probably a tenuous relationship to begin with when you go and you fire Paul Brown. But they did win a championship with Blanton Collier. But all the other things that Art Modell has done. And then when you move the team, obviously, he's the most reviled man in Cleveland, Ohio. And you take the team, you move the team, and they knew from the get-go, well, we're going to try to put him in the Hall of Fame. Where's the Hall of Fame located? Canton. Oh, that's 50 miles away from Cleveland. Well, obviously, that's not going to go too very well. And it didn't seem that Steelers fans were too very thrilled about having the Baltimore Ravens out there. They seem to be all with us on that one. That's one thing that we could get along with on. And so now you have a fan base that they know is going to boo their father or their founder or whatever they want to call that cretin. And they're going to be upset about that, go put him into the Hall of Fame. And the ownership knows that of the Baltimore Ravens. The organization knows that of the Baltimore Ravens. And they know that fans are going to boo them. They know that fans weren't necessarily nice about it when Art passed. We remember that Sunday. We know that. And I said, I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to cheer, but I don't know if I need to have a moment of silence myself over this because we're sitting in the middle of another not-so-great season, all because I think it's been caused by this guy. And I think they're saying, okay, 30 years against the Browns. Here's Ozzie. Here's his son. I'll stick it to you as best we can. You guys won't put him in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to make sure that you guys see it on TV because you'll be tuned in on CBS, and they will show it coming back from break. I guarantee it. And I ain't going to be happy about it. Neither will any Browns fan out there be. So this is my last stand. I can't defend bad decisions and bad coaching and bad management. I can't defend these things. It's blamed right on them by the final score of the football games and the mistakes that they've made. But I can fight this, and I think it's ridiculous. You could pick any other day. Teams change their plans at all times. They change their plans all the time for things. All the time. We were going to celebrate no matter what. Really? You got 9 dates, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 8. I'm not sure how it works out for them this year. You couldn't have celebrated another Sunday? Couldn't have figured out when and go, okay, when did it come out? May 11th? I think, for whatever reason, that date sticks out to me. Say it was May 11th is when the schedule came out, or 13th. Okay, the night of the 13th. Hey, or you go, hey, Ozzie, you going to be open on these dates? Because, Because if you do it against the Detroit Lions, I think they got the Lions next week. If you do it against the Lions next week, no one says boo to a goose. Go do it. Yeah, have your fun. You do it against the Browns, it comes off personal. I don't care what they say. And then you got that holier-than-thou organization that acts like everything is hunky-dory with them, and every other team has skeletons in their closet. Just go listen to one press conference from John Harbaugh. Acts like they're a pee-wee football team. Please. You got as many skeletons in your closet as we do ours, like every other NFL team out there. And you can deny it all you want. Ken Carmen, Tone on the Fan. I always got to do this one for my read. Window Nation and windownation.com.
10:55, live here on 92.3 The Fan. Back to baseball, Midwest League East Division Championship Series. Lake County Captains lose to West Michigan 7-2. Captains trail the best of 3 series, 1-0. Game 2 tomorrow night at West Michigan. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Let me add one more thing. For the folks they're big Indians fans first, Guardians fans first, it's great. It's great. I'm not a football guy, I'm a football guy. That's cool. You should be almost as mad as I am. There are plenty of people that are baseball fans first. They hate that we talk as much as we do about the Browns. They hate that the fan base loves the Browns as much as they do. And I go, okay, but if we do know the history, and you can go find the history, who's the guy who had the rent so exceedingly high because he knew the team couldn't really move other than to another city and was willing to risk that team moving to another city? That should have been our first indication. Who's the guy who had the rent so high for 30-plus years over at the old stadium that kept them from actually being able to get players? Who was that? Who was the guy who operated that building, who kept the rent high on the Indians? Who was that guy? Oh, yeah, that's right. But I'm supposed to just go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. These things are different.
I'm surprised you're not upset with the NFL over this.
I can be upset at both. Both these things can be true.
Obviously, the NFL seems complicit in this. They do the same thing with the Tennessee. I think they like one team.
Of course they do.
Crapping all over another because it adds to the storylines and the intrigue. And so the NFL, I think, is just complicit in this and wanting you to soak it all in because they like the storyline. And if the Browns could actually win with Joe Flacco going back there, I think that's part of it. Like if Joe Flacco, when was it announced? When did we pick up Joe Flacco in relation to when the actual schedule came out? What if that has anything to do with it? Like if Joe Flacco,
so they decided to do it with Joe.
If Joe, that adds to the juice of the game now. Otherwise, you just be a big dog, and who cares? People around the league would be like, "All right, the Ravens are going to crush the Browns," but it's Joe Flacco who's going to be a part of the celebration. Like he is absolutely going to be on the video board. They're going to mention his name. They're definitely going to be including him.
I don't fault him for anything. I'm not saying that you're thinking I'm going to fault him for anything. I don't fault him if they have a trinket or whatever for him before the game. Do they have trinket for other guys on the teams? Are they going to have trinkets for them, or are they just handing Joe a trinket?
No,
if they just hand Joe a trinket, then I think it's a false trinket.
We don't even know anything specifically outside of some of the performative stuff they're going to do. And also, I said, are they going to be showing a bunch of like Ravens dominating the Browns highlights in their video montage?
Well, there were a lot of games where that in fact happened.
Because if they do that, then it's so abundantly clear.
Well, then I think you really need to just get ready for that because there's going to be should
Stefanski have his team watch it?
They play. No, you go through your regular thing.
That wouldn't fire the guys up?
I don't think it's going to fire anything up.
If Stefanski said they are going to mock you before the game, and Stefanski pulls his kicker over as well, consoles him first, and then gives him a vote of confidence, and then says, hey, they are mocking you, and they're mocking the city that you guys spend time in. How do you feel about that? Do you think Stefanski could get him riled up?
No.
All right, then we'll just go get trounced then.
Well, I'm not saying that.
We'll just throw our hands up in the air and say, woe is me. I guess it's just not our week.
Ethan Posick is from Lamont, Illinois. I have Carson Schlesinger tonight for the preview show. Should I ask him if he knew that if he knows that 100%. The Ravens are the old Browns?
We will play that. Absolutely.
I interviewed him the night he got drafted. He seems to be a fine young man. I don't want to lead him down a primrose path here.
He was also born in the 2000s, right? So
hell yeah, he was born in the 2000s. I mean,
this all happened, and the Browns were already back by the time he was born.
How old is that guy? Where is he at? He born 03? Holy wah. We're getting old, brother.
Ravens already had that Super Bowl by then.
Jeez.
Oh, boy.
By the way, Joe Flacco signed on April 11th. The schedule came out May 14th.
Kenny? Kenny?
What? So is conspiracy afoot, you're saying?
I believe so.
Well, champions pose? Now all of a sudden you're mad?
No, I just seems like the NFL's complicit.
I'm willing to bet on their video board they're going to have a lot of highlights against the Browns. There have been plenty of highlights that they had against the Browns. Naturally.
Well, it'll be going on throughout the game. It's not they're doing one video and then quitting. They're going to do it the whole game.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
This is going to be one big pep rally.
Why don't you just get mad now instead of acting like you're going to get mad later? You might as well just get mad now.
Well, that's why I'm saying.
Because I'm mad. Join me in being mad. It's a lot of fun.
If they are doing this at the expense of the Browns, does Kevin Stefanski have an obligation to have these guys soak it in? These coaches look for any bulletin board material they can. This is emasculating what they are doing to the Browns and the team and the city.
I think it's.
I mean, if the hosts are getting mad and the players aren't,
it's motivating.
If the hosts are getting mad and the coaches aren't, then who are your coaches? You don't think Mike Vrabel would be seething, getting his team fired up to watch all
Jesuit,
that?
You know, that
Mike
is
Vrabel? Yeah.
That is a good thing. Because this is where you put the spin on it here. Now I'm going to do something that's performative here. Okay, say I'm Kevin Stefanski. I got to lose about 200 pounds first. But say I'm Kevin Stefanski, right? Boy, he lost weight. You see he lost weight?
Yeah.
He was already not in bad shape, and then I saw him, and I would go, good God, Kevin. Have a hoagie for crying out loud. Or what do they call him? A cheesesteak over there. What do they call him? Okay, what you do is you go out there, and you go, look around you. You have all this around you here. And I know we got guys from Lamont, Illinois, and Auburn, Alabama, and Audubon, New Jersey, and Arlington, Texas, and you look over at Miles. I know we got guys from Timbuktu to Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon. And I know that a lot of you guys were born after all this happened. And maybe you didn't even know that this team we're playing. Maybe you do this on Saturday night in the hotel. Maybe you didn't even know that this team we're playing used to be the Cleveland Browns, and that the owner of this team that used to be the Cleveland Browns ripped them away, and the fan base ain't ever been the same since. Well, why do I tell you guys this who are from Audubon, New Jersey, and Arlington, Texas, and Lamont, Illinois, and Hamilton, Georgia, and Long Beach, California? Why do I tell you guys this? You guys aren't from here. You guys may not care. Well, Denzel's from here, and I bet that there were people around Denzel that regaled him in tales about that. But if that doesn't matter, let me tell you this, is that there are a lot of fans out there that no matter what happens, love your guys. And they know that they're not powerful in anything that goes on here with you guys. And the only thing that they can really, truly do without getting themselves arrested is to live vicariously through you. So if you guys want to go to where you want to go, I know this is a better football team than what people think they are. We proved last week we're a better football team than what people think we are. It's time for us to take the next step. And what better time and what better place to take the next step is tonight at M&T Bank Stadium, or tomorrow morning for that matter, because it would be tonight at the Saturday night at the hotel. Tomorrow morning at that stadium, in front of those fans, in front of that organization that wants to spit in your fans' face. They want to do that. That's why they're doing that today. They know that they're going to line up and kick your ass up one side of the field and down the other. That's why they picked this. They know. They saw it before this season started that you were supposed to be a 3-win football team. They saw it before the season started that we had 4 different quarterbacks in the preseason and that we were just a different joke for everybody. And if you want to prove them different, if you want to leave a legacy 95 and 21 to the fan
95.
base of your fight, to the fan base of what your career is, hey, you can't just dime it out while I'm trying to do this here. You wanted me to do it, I'm doing it here. If you guys want to leave a legacy, then it's going to have to start now. And it can't be for me. It's got to be for guys like Joel. It's got to be for each other and for yourselves. Because I can't do this every week. The fan disrespect, it's got to be about you guys. But there's no better time than right now in this place against this team to put them at 0-2, to bring a quarterback that you can't bring to justice on every single drive. There's no better place to do it. There's no better place to get your fans behind you. There's no better place to show people that this year is going to be different than tomorrow in this stadium. And if you can't find this to get you motivated, then boys, it's going to be a hell of a long year, and I might as well start packing my bags. And if I go, a lot of you are going to be coming with me.
Think Kevin will do it?
No.
No.
Setbacks pave the way for comebacks.
Now go out there and play some football. Road Warriors, here we go.
Was that at least somewhat inspiring to you?
Yes.
Sounded like the same speech I gave before Fairview last week.
And?
Came away with a win.
Boom.
I gave that speech right before we played Manchester in the playoffs last year. Did not go our way. Did not go our way.
Wasn't your fault.
Hey, you didn't pack your bags. They let you stay in Streetsboro for another year.
I put them on the goal line twice yesterday.
You Fran Browned them?
We're not gonna waste each other's time here. We won't have some execution. I need better execution. I need better effing execution. And I can't say that word in front of him, so since I can't say that word in front of him, we're going to go to the goal line.
Hey, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
All right.
That's how I'm going to sound the final game of coaching. When Axel's in 6th grade next year, I'm going to sound like Jason Brown at the end of it.
But they got to show.
Can't fire me then. Can't get rid of me then.
They got to show the video because every Stefanski pump-up rah-rah speech after the wins that the Browns put out there, Myles Garrett's in the background rolling his eyes.
Well, I did think about that where I'm talking about the fans and I'm going, oh, yeah, I remember there was the whole Bengals game last year. It's hard, man. It's hard. I'm a football guy. I think I was more cut out for a youth football through college football guy. I don't know. I saw that Matt Rule speech, and you and I said the same thing. Like, you ain't saying that as a Carolina Panthers head coach. That ain't happening.
You really got to pick and choose your spots. This seems like a day. I'm just saying, this seems like a day where you could pick and choose.
But you want to know why I get so hard? I'm so hard on Myles and some of the other guys because it's like I can't yell at you every game.
No,
can't do it. You guys got to do it for each other. Murphy in Cleveland, you're first up on the Fan. Hello.
Well, I might be banned from calling it ever again, but I would seriously consider sacrificing any other win this year. I'd go 1-16 just to win this game. and I'm old. I'm 50, right? My 12-year-old son who loves the Browns will probably think I'm crazy. But I'm thinking like LeBron going into the Garden on Paul Pierce Day, having his jersey retired. I'm thinking I want to see all those smug people sitting in that owner's box. I want to see by the end of the game, I want to see little kids that are in there starting to tear up because the Browns are beating them so bad. I will sacrifice the entire year to see them beat Baltimore on this day. The entire year.
I mean, it would be a forgettable year. I'm not mad at him for saying this. I'd like to win a lot more games, but Murphy, I mean...
Is this back to no-hitter of the playoffs?
Thank you for the call.
That seems like the conversation the station was having yesterday.
Thank you for the call. Now, hold on here. Think about this. But they're killing you, by the way, in the YouTube comments.
For what?
For killing the mood.
What do you mean? I'm the reason you got fired up to begin with. Because, let's face it, this whole decision, I mean, we've known about this for a month.
I am sweating.
Ken finally got mad today. It's been a month that we've known about this.
No, I got mad a month ago.
It wasn't like this.
I didn't get that mad. You wanted me to put on a performance just now. I just did. I was mad a month ago. You kind of poo-pooed it, and here we are the days before.
You didn't get
Baskin was with... Because
you got fired because Baskin got fired up. That's what got you fired
somebody else
up.
to be with
But we've known about this for a month.
And I got mad a month ago.
It wasn't like this.
Because we were getting ready to play the game. And I didn't know that Art Modell's son was going to be out there. All that did was re-energize.
Yeah, we just found that out.
I swear to God, I didn't know he had another son. I had no idea. I thought his only son had passed away. I'm not trying. Whatever. I don't give a damn about that. But I didn't have any backup on it, so I just figured the hell with it.
This fight, somebody texted me this morning and goes, I don't remember Ken being this mad a month ago when this happened.
I can't sit there and scream every single show, guys. A month ago I was going to have this. Good God. And just say Keith. You don't need to say somebody. Just say Keith.
No, Ken definitely brought this up before. This is not... He wasn't doing all this.
All this? What is all this?
This over-dramatization.
He wanted me to do it.
He wasn't trying to embolden the players or anything like that.
I wanted a pump-up speech.
I wanted to embolden their spirit.
I wanted a pump-up speech because I'm not entirely sure the head coach can do something like that. And I'm glad Ken could find it within himself. I'm hoping the coaching staff can do that on
There's
Sunday.
a lot of fans
at 7:45 when they were driving in.
There's a lot of fans who really like it. And I thank you guys very much for your commendation. But I'm telling you right now, I don't mean a damn thing if Miles just goes out there and walks around. He ain't gonna walk around and play well. He'll play well. But damn, man. Whew, it's tough to get them motivated when you don't know if they're going to ever follow you through. Now, I tell you, like it works now. If I try to do that in like week 13, I just become John Voight at the end of Varsity Blues.
Yeah, it gets old.
Come on, damn it! Who's coming with me?
That's why I'm hoping they came out and gave a terrific effort in week 1. And you're just sitting here hoping that it's all for naught to where they just get blown out in week 2. That's like nobody will care. Nobody will care about the feel goods.
It will kill them. And now I'm serious about this. I know we got calls here. I'm serious about this. If they go out there and they roll over and die on Sunday, it's going to be twofold worse. Because fans, the guys who say they don't care right now, God bless you. It's Wednesday. Maybe you don't care. But I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to tune into that game, and you're going to see some of those things and those highlights, and that mare, that smirking mare. You remember those things when you were a kid. The look, that you-know-what-eating grin on that mare who knew that he's going to have streets named after him in Baltimore, Maryland from here on out, that he's going to be the hero of heroes because he helped steal our football team away from us, from that charlatan, with that Benedict Arnold. And you knew that you're going to see that guy, and it's going to ignite something in you. That smarmy look, it's going to get something in you. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to get something in you. And you're going to remember it, and they go out there and they roll over and they play dead like they've done in the past. You know how pissed you're going to be. You have no idea how pissed you're going to be. And you're going to be sitting there somewhere in the third quarter, and you know that feeling where you can hear the planes flying over and stuff like that. You know, and it's just quiet and nobody cares. Well, this is a away game, so it'll probably be pretty loud. But if the game's out of hand by then, some people will probably be already going back to the parking lot, and you're going to have that feeling, Ken was right. Ken was absolutely right. This is ridiculous because they're going to be loving it. They're going to be up 20-something points, and they come back from break, and there's going to be that old mare, and you guys are going to be ready to put a hole in the wall, and you guys are going to do nothing but cuss out every single player in orange and brown that you see on TV. I guarantee it. It will reignite something in you, and if it doesn't, then I'm very nervous about the future of that football team. Very nervous. I'm going to tell you right now, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday morning, 9:30. You guys got business to take care of. You got work to do. You kids get out to school. I get it. But damn it, come Sunday afternoon, if they go out there and they get their asses kicked up one side of this field and down the other, and they get their you-know-what's knocked in the dirt, you're going to be feeling a hell of a lot different when you see some of them highlights. 216-474-0092. That and your vote matters. And I'm not talking about Cleveland Heights coming up on the Fan. Friends, Ken Carman here for Classic.
Upgrade today by visiting Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Headline sports news every 20 minutes from the University Hospital's sports desk. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
College football. I didn't realize this was going to pick up the way it did. We got to get this in because I've been talking about it all morning. College football has themselves a problem. I do think the AP vote, it's not just because of this person's vote. The AP vote for a long time has been bad. And I think it's the reason why. Is this woman a beat writer? Yeah, this is the issue. When you have beat writers who start their days at 9 a.m. driving to these places, driving to stadiums. They have to do the pregame stuff, postgame stuff. They're doing social. I mean, if you got a 7 p.m. game, you think about, or 7:30 ESPN game, you ain't getting out of there till midnight.
No.
And I think they just vote on.
She went private.
Oh, boy. I feel bad.
USC Sports for SoCal News Group. Also, adjunct professor for College of the Canyons.
Oh, my God. What's the name of this person again?
This is Haley Sawyer.
Haley Sawyer. Okay.
And she's throwing a football in her profile picture. And the fact that I see that, she is now qualified. So she can throw around a football.
The issue is that she has several wild misfirings in her AP poll.
Yeah.
Florida still ranked 14th in that AP poll?
She had the Gators. They were 16 in her week 2 ballot. They went up to 14. Yet the team that beat them...
After losing to South Florida.
The team that beat them is unranked. And there's a few of those going on here.
Yeah.
And so I will say this. The poll is kind of impossible because there's no way to do a poll that does two things at once. Both ranks the teams in order of how you think they are, and then weighs in each and every individual result, because the further along the season goes, now this is very early for her to mess this up, mangle it the way she did, but the further along you get in the season, like, there's going to be conflicts. Like, I think this team is better than this team, but this team beat this team. Who's supposed to go? This team has way less losses, but it's to this team. It is an exercise of futility when you really think of it. And I would also add, Kenny, why does anybody care about the AP poll when we have an expanded playoff?
They look for
this isn't 1958
because they look
where we have an AP champion, or even the BCS, where the AP poll is heavily weighted in your BCS formula.
You're talking about college football fans here.
It doesn't matter at all nowadays.
Well, let me read you from college football nerds on Twitter. They said there are people who would kill for the honor of an AP vote, and you don't even put in half the effort.
Well, I told you. I mean, I'll never get a chance to vote
for it years ago.
I'll never get
it
a
doesn't
chance
matter
to
now.
Vote for the Heisman, and I think that you, me, well, now, me, Dustin, it's you, me, and Keith who pay the closest attention to college football on this station. Am I wrong? So if it's you, me, and Keith who pay the closest attention to college football on this station, Keith, I know, has a vote. Not an AP vote, if I'm not mistaken. They want to have people from all over the country, so they have a nice representation from all over the country.
A nice sampling.
But when you have a sampling of everybody from all over the country, you get a lot of beat writers. Well, if I'm the USC beat writer, I'm going to be paying attention to USC. That's part of it. So I think we still have to... I don't want the woman to have threats and God knows what, because college football fans are a bunch of psychos. And it takes a special type of person. I mean, let's be honest, guys like you and me who our souls left our bodies years ago and don't really care about that sort of thing. Once you get your first death threat, it kind of, they kind of get,
they all
you kind of
run
get
together.
Used to it. Yeah. So
sure, the method of death is going to, mileage will vary on that. But
when you get to this, it's kind of like, I don't want her to undergo any of that nasty stuff. But I think scrutiny needs to happen.
Oh, this girl never wants to do this again.
But
she does not want this ever again.
And I don't want to have groupthink, but you have to be able to defend that. You can't move Florida, because clearly she didn't see the Florida game. You can't move Florida up, and you can't leave USF out. There's things that you have to have a good, solid argument for why you have him and why you don't. Because college football fans are looking for disrespect, and I do think it matters to television. You turn on a TV game or you look at their guide and you see number 11 versus number 7. All right, I'm in. You want quality. We have audio of Haley Sawyer here.
She explains herself.
Let's hit it now.
But as far as what my votes are and what my process is, I wake up early in the morning after covering a game late in the night before. Don't want to go too much into my process or logic, but I will say I appreciate everybody's interaction on social media and all of your feedback. There's tons of people that vote on the AP poll, and it's not a perfect system, but at the end of the day, no matter who you pick, it does even out because there's so many people who vote. And like I said, it's really fun for discussion. It doesn't, probably matter in the end, but I'm glad that people are having a really good time with it.
You can't say what you do doesn't matter.
And glad everyone's having a good time at it. Meanwhile, I'm going off the grid and I am taking my profile private.
And I think that's part of the problem is that there's so many people. There have been plenty of people before you who have had bad votes or had bad ballots, bad polls. And that, I think, is the college football fans' problem. I can't condone any of the other things that have happened.
Meanwhile,
over the last week. That's terrible.
Can we go after the voters that don't have Ohio State number 1? I will start out with Brian Howell, who is in Colorado. Boy, we have a lot of fans out in Colorado right now. We have Mason Young. Would appear that his affiliation is with Oklahoma. He has Penn State number 1.
All right.
We also have Robert Cessna, who is affiliated with Texas A&M. He has Oregon. We have someone in the South. Reese Davis. Come on,
now,
Reese Davis, LSU number 1.
LSU?
Let's go after Reese Davis the way we went after Haley Sawyer. Do you watch the games, Reese?
LSU.
And finally, Cokie Riley, who's affiliated with LSU.
Cokie Roberts.
I know.
That'd be a great vote.
Be a hell of a vote.
He's a historian of Congress.
Cokie Roberts is passed, right?
Yes, she has, not Cokie Roberts, but the other Cokie has Penn State number 1. And finally, John Wilner. I've gone after John Wilner before. We had Doug Maurice on last week. I mentioned John Wilner. He approves of John Wilner's work. He has LSU number 1.
How do you have LSU number 1? I watched the Louisiana Tech game.
People are highlighting some. I tagged you in a Jordan Reed thread. He was going over the LSU quarterback that you love so much. He's going after some throws, saying NFL throws. NFL throws.
Okay.
Boom.
It's too early to bring on Jordan Reed to talk about that. Ask me next month. Maybe we'll have a different tune.
He loved Mr. Nussmeier.
Big thanks to everybody who joined us today. We're back tomorrow morning, 6 to 10. Go back and listen to Around the AFC North. Pony was surprisingly civil. Go back and listen to that. We got Mary Kay joining us tomorrow, 8:20. We'll hear the latest on Quinshon Judkins. Will he play on Sunday? You'll have to be listening to the Fan to find out. For Big Country, for Jeff, for Mitch, for the Slippery Wizard, Anthony Lima, I'm Ken Carmen. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Hey,
sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Loser town, loser fans, and you guys are a loser show.
This is Bummer Esiason with an Odyssey Sports Minute. What a game ball performance by Josh Allen, aided by sure-handed Keon Coleman. Travis Etienne had a 156-yard outing, and Brock Bowers lit it up before a third-quarter knee injury. Green Bay's Rashawn Gary and Cincy's Jordan Boswell took defensive honors. Chris Boswell's 60-yard game winner made him Special Teamer of the Week.